and go.
Hi everyone, welcome to week 8 of UKITT. We've got an absolutely exciting week ahead of playoffs. I'm Zoe Loon, joined by the amazing Rich Taylor. How are you today, Rich?
Oh gosh, well, Zoe, first of all, yes, hello. I am so warm. Oh my gosh, it has just been an absolute nightmare of heat today. I thought, yeah, I'll wash my car, 25 degrees outside. I thought, okay, brilliant. And that is just the beginning of the absolute fierce temperatures we're going to be experiencing today through some insane series of games that we're going to be looking at. So we have 6 juicy games sitting ahead of us. We are in playoffs/placements, so we're going to be seeing who's going to make it through to semi-finals, and we're going to be figuring out some of the standings for the rest of the teams throughout the tournament, so we know exactly where these teams are going to be sitting. So there is a lot going on in these games today, Zoe.
Yeah, the competition is really heating up. And for our first couple of matches today, it's going to be the Silly Cobras versus the Palafins. And as far as I'm aware, when I last checked, they're very close. I believe they're currently 3-2 to the Palafins,
Yeah.
which means that the Silly Cobras must win their next match if they wish to continue. And the Palafins, if they want to make this easier for themselves, must win this next match to guarantee that spot. So why don't we take a look at our players that's going to be featured in our first match? And I just had a quick sneak peek first. It's going to be Sean, and I am chuckling at that little info. Ben Kiriakou wanted to book coaching for this match.
I mean, hey, sometimes you've got to go to the best to be able to beat the best, right, Zoe? And Sean playing off against Ben himself. What a better way to learn from somebody how to beat them than by getting coaching from the person that you want to beat, right? I mean, it both makes so much sense and is really baffling to wrap my head around. So let's have a dive into the team and see kind of what we're working with here.
Yeah, Sean's got a team of Miraidon, Zamazenta, Incineroar, Whimsicott, Chien-Pao, and Landorus. So Miraidon, of course, one of the strongest Pokemon in the format right now. Paired up with the Zamazenta. Zamazenta, normally paired up against a Calyrex Shadow Rider. But in this case, just the combination of a strong physical attacker and a strong special attacker just is really powerful. And then to round it out, you've also got that Chien-Pao boosting the damage of not the Miraidon, the Zamazenta, and then the Incineroar, of course, doing Incineroar things. And there's that Whimsicott and Landorus just to round things out.
Gosh, yeah, it is a very, very strong team full of Pokemon that you do commonly see working together. It's so synergistic in itself, and there's so many different leads and lines of play that you can use on this team to be able to take down, I'd like to argue, pretty much anything, right? So I'm curious to see what Ben's going to be bringing to try and take down this formidable team.
Yeah, let's take a look at Ben, who has booked Sean's coaching for this match, and it better pay off, or otherwise Cammy is kicking me off the team. That is, I love these really creative, fun facts. Just a lot of really cool, player banter in between themselves. That's just exactly what I like to see as part of UKIT. It's not just about playing some games. It's also, bonding that friendship. Sometimes maybe a little bit of snark between each player, but that's just what makes it more fun. And let's take a look at Ben's team of Miraidon, Lunala, Incineroar, Ursaluna, Urshifu, Rapid Strike, and Whimsicott.
Yeah, so again, there's some familiar faces between these two trainers, but some of the big differences could well be that naughty Ursaluna, which is a pain for pretty much any Miraidon player. So Ben opting for a potential to go both fast and slow, either with the Trick Room from the Lunala or the Tailwind from the Whimsicott. So there's a lot of variety between what these two trainers can be doing with a core 3 Pokemon, which are identical, I think, in moveset, Terra type, and item, if I remember rightly. So it's going to be interesting to see how they both work around each other. And I'm really curious to see whether Ben's coaching from Sean paid off, or whether Sean just absolutely threw him under the bus and went, I'm going to teach you all the wrong things for how I play, and I'm going to destroy you. However, as you mentioned, Zoe, Ben has to win this game to keep the Silly Cobras in, and it's very, very important for them to win so that then the next match up can be the decider, because whoever wins this match goes into the semi-finals. So Cammy kicking Ben off the team for losing this one might be slightly justified, but hey, we can ramble all day. What do you say if we jump in and maybe get some leads going, Zoe?
Oh, I'm really ready to see this game. It's going to be absolutely blistering. So let's see whether or not Sean's coaching has paid off. We're going to get started, and it looks like we're going to be watching the game from Sean's perspective. It's going to be two Incineroars facing off against each other, but Sean's going to be leading with his Miraidon, whereas Ben will be leading with a Lunala.
So both trainers allowing themselves to go for some fake out pressure onto the opposing side. So we saw by the order in which the Intimidates took place, it was actually Ben's Incineroar which had the Intimidate go off first, which, although it could well be a speed tie, it might well be meaning that Ben's Incineroar is slightly faster than Sean's. So the potential for fake out on fake out antics is slightly more Ben favored if he does choose to go for, say, an aggressive fake out into the Miraidon and then get his own trick room set up. There's already so much that can be done just from this turn one state. The Miraidon is absolutely devastating in terms of power, and I'm not sure any Pokemon really wants to take an Electro Drift plus knockoff or Flare Blitz from Incineroars. So both trainers are at such a critical point of having to decide, am I playing safe? Am I going aggressive? Am I going all out attack? Or am I going trick room? So it's going to be really interesting to see how this actually plays out.
Yeah, especially when, as you called out earlier, that Incineroar, Ben's Incineroar went off first in terms of Intimidate. And, Sean can't exactly fake out the Lunala. So if Ben's Incineroar is faster, he could just get it off. And we're going to see now actually no fake outs. The Volt switch into Ursaluna fantastically, but the knockoff comes off and removes the Ursaluna's Flame Orb. So no more burn. And that in Ursaluna is just severely nerfed.
Oh my gosh. So that was both such a good read from Ben in terms of pressuring the fake out, but actually saying, psych, I don't want to do that, and switching in the Ursaluna, knowing he's clicking Trick Room on Lunala. But the Incineroar capitalizing on that from Sean's side and going for the knockoff into that means that there is no guts boost from Ursaluna, which means it does not get that insane attack boost, both for its guts ability, but for that crippling facade, which is known to one-shot a heck of a lot of Pokemon here. So, though, yes, Ben now has speed control in his favor, it's going to be very, very interesting to see what they're doing, as the Ursaluna is not going to be doing as much damage as you'd want to really be doing.
No, it won't be, but it's still going to be doing very good damage. And with access to Earthquake and that Lunala getting Wide Guard, I don't see anything just stopping Ben from going, say, for a Wide Guard plus the Earthquake. The Miraidon is in a very awkward spot right now. It's the fastest thing on the field. So if Sean wants to keep that Miraidon alive, he might want to think about switching it out.
Yeah, so it's going to be. I'm interested to see where it's going to be taken, and we're going to see the immediate switch out from the Miraidon into the Zamazenta. Headlong Rush hitting the Incineroar and taking a devastating one-hit knockout right there. Moongeist Beam swinging into the Zamazenta here. So unfortunately, Zamazenta is not able to attack this turn, and it takes a very, very large amount of damage from just switching in. Poor dog. We're going to have to call, is it RSPCA? That one might be for dogs. Regardless, this is still a very, very strong position for Ben right now. He still has that speed control and bringing Landorus, yeah, it's very, very good to deal with the Ursaluna. However, Ursaluna can still hit super effective into Zamazenta, so there may now be mind games of, are we playing with terrors? Are we going to be playing slow with switches? I actually don't know. This is I love a trick room game, but it's so stressful to try and manage.
Yeah, I must say, I think Ben really got a good turn out of there, getting rid of that Incineroar with that Headlong Rush, because now it means there's no more fake outs, no more Intimidates, and no more parting shots. I'll just quickly check if Sean's Incineroar... Actually, no, Sean's Incineroar does not have parting shots, so there isn't a risk of that. But there's, removing that Intimidate option and the U-turning is really, really helpful for Ben.
Oh, yes, entirely. It's the Incineroar, it's everybody's boogeyman, and we're going to see a Terra Ghost onto the Ursaluna hitting Facade into Landorus, and the Moongeist Beam also into the Landorus. Apparently, on this side of the board, we don't like Genie's Body Press hits into the Terrastalized Ursaluna, taking absolutely zero damage. So Ben, really, really playing carefully here, taking defensive terrors and ensuring that one of Zamazenta's, I believe, 2 attacking moves are now not able to hit anything on his board. So Sean is in a very high pressure situation right here.
That is a really fantastic turn for Ben, because now he's got 2 ghost types, one being the Ursaluna, the other being Lunala, and Zamazenta's main damage output is Body Press, so it can't actually affect either of these ghost types. And this Miraidon is choice locked, which means it cannot protect, and with Sean down to his final 2 Pokemon, that Miraidon is just lunch for the Ursaluna's Headlong Rush.
Oh my gosh, no, you're so right with that as well, because there's not really a particularly good or safe option, is there, based on what Ben could currently have in the back? That choice specs locked Miraidon is going to have to make decisions. If we go for a Dazzling Gleam, Wide Guard Lunala will just be able to stop every bit of damage. Going for electric moves might not be very beneficial if you then, see the second Miraidon in the back for Ben. Going for the Draco Meteor just chunks down your own special attack. So actually, yeah, you raised an incredible point in that Sean is going to have to think very, very critically on what one move is going to be locked in for this poor Miraidon to try and swing this game back in his favor and take it away from Ben.
Yeah, it's actually we're going to see now. The Miraidon is going to terrasilize into the very top of the critical hit, and Lorata just takes it out instantly. So that was a wasted Terra turn, and the Zamazenta is forced to take a Moongeist Beam, brings it down very low, and that heavy slam on that +1 defense, Lunala just does very, very little. And at this stage, this poor little Zamazenta just isn't going to be able to do anything on the final turn of Trick Room, because even if Trick Room expires, there's nothing stopping that Lunala from just setting it all up again. So a fantastic game from Ben.
Yeah, that was a very, very dominant display. And there you go. So there is the surrender from Sean's side there. Knowing that he has unfortunately reached the end of his team's capacity. Fair play for recognizing that point and not wanting to, waste time trying to worm your way out. Instead, move to the next game. It's a fresh slate. There is zero pressure on, and it's going to be a real struggle for Sean to kind of avoid that happening. So the biggest thing was obviously that Trick Room, right? Ben got his speed control in his favor, taking that away from Sean to put the pressure on. So what could Sean do differently to try and prevent that same situation from happening again, do you think?
I think from the start, maybe that Ben having led the Lunala and the Incineroar meant that Sean's Incineroar really wasn't he wasn't really gaining the maximum value because he couldn't fake out the Lunala. And we also saw that his Incineroar's Intimidate went off second, which could either be it was slower or a speed tie, but also meant that Sean couldn't risk going for a fake out onto Ben's Incineroar, because it would have been, that fake out would have gone second.
Yes.
So I think lead-wise, Miraidon is a very powerful Pokemon, but maybe in the beginning, not lead it and become, fake out fodder.
Yes.
Which, even though Ben, it was a bait, like the Ursaluna just switched in instantly, but I think a lot of Miraidon players have to be very careful of that Ursaluna hiding in the back.
Yeah, well, that's just it with fake out. You have to respect it, and I feel like that's what both Ben and Sean almost capitalized on. If you don't respect a fake out, then you may well lose your restricted Pokemon turn one. So that's why both trainers went for slightly more passive plays, knockoff, and a switch rather than fake out, because they respected each other's game plans so much in terms of what they want to be getting off. So yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how both trainers lead. I mean, I'm not sure about you, but I'm ready to jump in and see the next one.
Oh, so am I. I really want to see how our players adapt to this. So we're going to see a bit of a switch up from Sean, leading with the Miraidon and Landorus, and Ben is going to go for a complete switch up of Urshifu and Whimsicott. And instantly, this is so interesting, because the Whimsicott can just set up a Tailwind, and then that Choice Band Surging Strikes onto the Landorus is going to knock it out. But then again, there's that Miraidon, which is one of the best counters to this Urshifu. And let me just quickly check what Terra type is Ben's Urshifu. It is a Terra Ghost. So, although Urshifu is kind of frail, I don't know if it can even survive a Terra Choice Specs boosted, Electric Terrain boosted electric move from a Miraidon. So this is really, really interesting whether or not he lets his Landorus stay in and tries to get rid of the Urshifu, because the Whimsicott, I think I can just see a Tailwind coming off instantly.
Oh gosh, absolutely. I mean, it's the one thing that Whimsicotts are raised and bred and trained to do. They click Tailwind, and then they are a pain with Encores and Light Screens. And there's only one way to find out. We are going to see the Tailwind be locked in, Surging Strikes knock into the Landorus. Two critical hits in a row. Kind of crazy right there. Knocking out that Landorus immediately. Volt Switch clapping back into the Urshifu, taking a return. One hit knockout. Bringing in everybody's favorite kitty cat, Incineroar. next to Miraidon, its good friend, and staring down a Miraidon. So both trainers, Ben and Sean, having the Miraidons out on the field. However, Ben again is able to maintain speed control, but this time through tailwinds. So a really good adaptation from Ben here, maybe making Sean think that he's going to be safer not bringing his own tailwind because of the Trick Room team setup. So I feel like Ben may have the slight upper hand as the board state is. However, both trainers have their terrestrializations available, and I'm sure we all know Miraidon versus Miraidon mirrors. They're running Terra Fairy each. There's no safe move to click. Dazzling Gleam, you can Terra out of the super effective, but then if you Terra, you're going to get hit with an Electro Drift. Electro Drift is naturally not very effective. Draco Meteor gets nullified if you Terra Fairy. So there are so many key decisions here, but the biggest factor of all, in my opinion, is that Incineroar being out and ready to click Fake Out this time. So Sean does have that immediate pressure, being able to go, yeah, I'm just going to click Fake Out and I am going to take a knockout this turn.
Yeah, that's the nice thing about having that Incineroar. The Whimsicott, at this point, it's done its job. It's not going to be able to knock out either Miraidon or Incineroar on Sean's side, but Ben has to be very careful because his Miraidon is choice locked. It cannot protect. So if he goes for the wrong terrestrialization, Sean could either, deal major damage with a Volt Switch on a Terra Fairy Miraidon, or if it stays there and Sean picks the Draco Meteor, that's just going to get knocked out instantly as well. So is Ben going to just switch out the Miraidon to keep it safe? I'm really curious to find out.
There's just so many decisions on. Oh, okay. So Ben immediately going for the Terra Fairy, Incineroar clapping that with a Fake Out. Whimsicott bringing in its own light screen to reduce the amount of damage dealt. But Sean's Miraidon locking into the Draco Meteor, hitting into the Fairy slot, which then does 0 damage. So both of Ben's Pokemon currently on the board are immune to the one move that Miraidon is able to use for the rest of the game unless it switches out. And this is exactly what you were talking about, Zoe. That key decision making, being able to say, I need to pick one move that will be so crucial for the rest of this game. And Sean does go for the maximum amount of damage, assuming Ben wouldn't terrestrialize. But unfortunately, Ben has read into that and gone, no, I'm going to play it safe, take the Terror, and then if you Electro Drift, I may be able to survive a one-hit knockout with that light screen. So very safe from Ben here. But now, what's Sean going to be able to do? That Miraidon is locked, so it's going to have to either switch or hope that Ben makes a switch of his own.
Yeah, well, the Miraidon really, for Sean's side, really isn't in a great position. And, because now it's locked into the Draco Meteor, which does absolutely nothing to the two fairy types on Ben's side, Ben's Miraidon is quite free to maybe just focus fire on the Incineroar, make sure it doesn't come in and out with those Fake Outs. And then once Ben has locked Sean down to his final 2 Pokemon, then that he can scout out what to do. But I think in this turn, that Whimsicott has proven to be incredibly disruptive, and Sean is going to be forced to reveal his final Pokemon just to make sure that the Miraidon can actually do damage.
Yeah, and I suppose actually the Incineroar being on board and using Fake Out into Miraidon means that Ben may well be able to change the move that he potentially locked in for his Miraidon to potentially suit the situation a little better. So that Fake Out has meant that Ben's able to pick a move one turn later. So running through the turn, we do see Miraidon switch out into the Zamazenta, exactly as you said. Electro Drift taking a one-hit knockout onto the Zamazenta. Oh my gosh! So that is incredible. Oh wow.
Yeah, that was a lot of damage. Whimsicott does go down to the Flare Blitz, but at this point, I think it's done its job of setting up both the Tailwind and the Light Screen. And now, for the rest of this turn, Sean has to be very careful what he locks the Miraidon into. Well, he can't really lock into Draco Meteor, so the choices are either Electro Drift or Dazzling Gleam. And at this stage, I think he has to lock into Electro Drift because you can't lock into Dazzling Gleam against the Lunala, and Electro Drift will still do major damage to Ben's side. But with that Light Screen up and Lunala having its Shadow Shield up, I think Ben's in actually quite a comfortable position here.
Yeah, I do agree. I feel like Ben has positioned his Pokemon very carefully and very effectively so that this turn would potentially be one of the last turns that we'll be seeing. Lunala, somebody forgot to pause at the right time, does get a defense boost as Electro Drift hits into the Incineroar. So Miraidon, the last thing left for Sean, gets critical hit. Oh my gosh, crits are flying here. But what can Miraidon do other than you know, hit one Pokemon, so the Electro Drift goes into Miraidon, does not take the one-hit knockout, unfortunately. But is this going to be, you know, some of the last turns, do we think? Or is Sean going to be able to pull something naughty out of the bag here?
Yeah, I don't think there's the Miraidon now being locked into Electro Drift, and also it's in range of any attack. It can only attack one Pokemon at a time. There is absolutely no way Ben can lose this game unless Ben accidentally forfeits, which he's not going to do. And we see now that Lunala taking the final KO with the Moongeist Beam. So well played to Ben. Looks like the coaching from Sean has paid off. Maybe Sean's wishing he taught Ben some incorrect moves. That may have helped.
I mean, it's a testament to Sean's coaching right there that the coach was able to be beat by the student. Is this like how Karate Kid works, or is this like more advanced than that? Either way, well done to both trainers there. Ben being able to show off a real finesse with, you know, the tail room style team, being able to go, yeah, I'll go fast, I'll go slow, and I am going to be able to effectively work around anything that you bring. So both trainers played incredibly well there. The terrestrializations were so key, and the move decisions were just seemingly in Ben's favor through this match. So, you know, maybe Ben's practiced against this kind of team a lot more. I don't quite know. However, this puts us in a very interesting position, Zoe. Now, you highlighted earlier, this score was 3-2 to the Palafins, but with Ben winning that, it is now 3-3 between the Palafins and Silicobra Kai, and we have one match left of that little bracket right now. So this last game, no pressure to our final two trainers who are going to be playing in it, but
it's all resting on their shoulders now.
Yeah, this will decide which of these two teams does actually make it through to the semi-finals, which will then lead them towards finals potentially. So this is a real no pressure, but all of the pressure kind of situation. So should we have a look at who's going to be let's see who's going to be playing, eh?
Yeah, so our player from Palafins will be B, and I'm absolutely loving all the player infos here. My friend Violin once beat camera up so hard, he spoke about it at his wedding to his friends who don't play Pokemon. Wow, you can see the trauma was deep there.
I mean, right. It feels like through UKIT, it's almost destiny for B to be playing against managers. So they have actually played, including this match, small spoiler, they've played 5 weeks of UKIT, and 4 of them, they've been playing against managers. So as a relatively new player, B has had the absolute gauntlet of the century. They are absolutely trying to take down every and any manager that comes across their way. So let's see if they will be adding to some potential trauma with this wonderful team that actually matches their chosen stream picture. We have what's known as Swordfish team composition. We have Kyogre and Zacian as the 2 restricted, followed up with everybody's favorite fluffball, Whimsicott, the cat of everybody's nightmares, Incineroar. We have a Moongus, which personally I'm not a fan of, and then Raging Bolt. So again, we have some Pokemon to really capitalize on different Pokemon's weaknesses to be able to really form a very strong core, particularly with the Fire, Water, Grass core that is so common within very strong and high performing teams. So personally, I love this team. I think it is so much fun to play and watch it go down. But I'm interested about the Raging Bolt there. It's not the most common that you see an Assault Vest. Usually you see, what's the booster energy? Usually you see a booster energy, so that might well play a big part.
Yeah, it's got 3 electric moves as well, which I find quite fascinating. But also, there's quite a few, very, I would say, niche picks for the movesets. Like this Incineroar has Taunt. That's quite interesting. Not the most common move on an Incineroar. It is seen, but not that often. And then Terra Blast Ground on that Zacian. So I can see, the team. It's somewhat of a standard Rain team, but with very small tweaks to just make certain matchups better. Although I must say, as someone who's played a lot of Kyogre, I absolutely hate clicking Origin Pulse. That is, and play rough. I just my heartbreak just goes up every time I click anything that's not 100% accurate.
Oh gosh, so you've said it now. Are we going to have another case of the casting curse? You've mentioned it. How many play roughs are we going to miss, and against which opponent is B playing? Let's take a cheeky look, eh?
Yes, so B will be playing Camerupt, so very fitting player info. It's very sweet player info this time. My wife surprised me at our wedding by walking down the aisle to the piano version of the Pokemon theme song. That is so beautiful and that is so amazing.
It's honestly like my heart goes out and in the least weird way to your wife. That's incredible, and that would be such a genuinely lovely thing, knowing the absolute love for Pokemon that Cammy has. I believe multi-time manager for UKIT, wonderful person, great player. Yeah, honestly, chat's popping off and going, feel like I was at Cammy's wedding at this point. I wish we all were. And Cammy, as the final player, is fighting as the manager for their team to get through to finals. So we have a couple of very interesting Pokemon picks here. Now, I'd like to hear your thoughts, as I know you are much more experienced with Pokemon than myself. That little creature in the bottom right there, Zoe, Ditto. Do we think
Oh,
that that is going to absolutely wreak some havoc on this game?
I love seeing Dittos in team previews because it means you might possibly be seeing 5 restricteds in a game because this
Mm-hmm.
Ditto can copy anything it's directly opposite of. So, it's a really cool, it's quite a nice kind of way to round out teams. Sometimes if you've got a core of 5 Pokemon that's just working really well and you've got a spare slot on the 6th Pokemon that you're not quite sure what you want it to be because your other 5 cover each other's weaknesses really well. It's
Mm.
really nice to have that Ditto in there. And it's also quite good in team preview because it forces your opponent to think very carefully about what they want to lead with in case they just give a free restricted to their opponent. And then I'm also looking at this choice scarf. Final Gambit Annihilate. Annihilate has a very high base health, so it's got. I think it's the Pokemon, well, the final Gambit user that has the most HP. So it can just instantly knock out a lot of Pokemon in the format. I don't think it can get quite close to the restricted, but it can deal a healthy chunk. And with that choice scarf, I don't think B has anything on their team that's going to be faster. Oh well, B's got Tailwind Whimsicott, so that can
Mm.
help get the jump. But there's a lot of really cool teams, and then an Assault Vest Miraidon. So just making sure that this Miraidon is more focused on surviving attacks rather than just dishing it out instantly. And it also means it can switch moves. So if you select the wrong move one turn, that's okay. You can switch it up the next turn.
Yeah, and I think you've raised a very good point, and I feel like that's shared through the whole team in general. The survivability of Cammy's team. We see the defensive iteration of Calyrex Ice Rider that's becoming more popular recently, with the leftovers and the Leech Seed intending to stall out, whittle down. Snarl featuring on the Miraidon is also not the most common, but I really like that. Hits for quite effective into Calyrex Shadow Riders, and just generally lowers the amount of damage that will be dealt out. And then again, Boogeyman for me, though it's designed to look like a Boogeyman, that Grimmsnarl, oh gosh, I get nightmares facing off against that thing.
Oh,
Light
look at
screen,
Thunder
reflect.
Wave.
Oh gosh, and a Thunder Wave. I love being paralyzed so much. I think we should see whether B also enjoys getting paralyzed as we jump straight into game 1 of this match.
Yeah, I'm ready to see this final playoff between the Silly Cobras and the Palafins. So it looks like Cammy is going to be leading with the double restricted Calyrex and Miraidon, whereas B is keeping their restrictors maybe in the back with the Raging Bolt and the Whimsicott. So Whimsicott just ensuring that access to Tailwind means that it will be going, or if it goes for the Tailwind, it can just help its teammate go first. But does have to be very careful because there's a Calyrex with Trick Room on the other side. So if B clicks Tailwind, Cammy might just go and click a Trick Room instead.
Yeah, so this is a really scary point to be in, but B does have a secret weapon. They do have Encore on the Whimsicott, so if there is an instance whereby Trick Room is set up, they may well be able to force it to be reversed, putting Calyrex in a very awkward position. So there are so many things that can be happening just from this turn 1. So immediately Miraidon going for Terrestrial. Oh my gosh, double
electric.
a double electric. The light screen protects the Raging Bolt from a massive KO. They're taking 39%. Volt switching itself out to bring in the Zacian here. And then Calyrex is just going to go for a big Glacial Lance, which does take out that poor little Whimsicott. So I believe that's B having lost their primary form of speed control from that turn 1. Though, yes, they got some great damage off. Was that trade-off worth it?
Well, Calyrex is now at +1 attack. Of course, there's that Zacian coming in also at +1 attack. And with that Raging Ball, Terra Electric boosted by the electric terrain, it's going to be dealing a lot of damage. And I wonder, does Cammy have the Incineroar in the back ready to just reduce the attack of the Zacian? Because Calyrex is kind of, we saw how well it took that Volt Switch boosted by electric terrain and Terra. So, Calyrex quite bulky, and even with a double up, I'm kind of curious, can this Calyrex survive, say maybe a Miraidon Volt switching out into the Incineroar? And we'll have to see.
Yeah, we will. There's so much on the table. So the Miraidon immediately switches out into the Incineroar. Perfectly predicted, Zoe, bringing down that Zacian's attack by one stage. Zacian going for a Behemoth Blade into the Incin, and Raging Bolt is going to do something devastating. Draco Meteor, unfortunately, into the protected Calyrex slot there. So Calyrex is slowly going to be bringing its health back up with its held item of leftovers. And now Cammy has the board position to say, I can potentially just click Fake Out and then Trick Room here. What are you going to do? So B feel like slightly on the back foot, but unfortunately protection switches happen and reading is really difficult here. So I can't see the optimal play for either trainer really, as both of them want to just be able to take out their opposing Pokemon as quickly as possible. Is Trick Room the right answer for this?
I think, given that Cammy's got both the Calyrex and the Incineroar, both of which are quite slow, and Incineroar, freshly swapped in, does have a Fake Out, and right now, the Raging Bolt is actually the bigger threat on B's team, so I can see maybe the Incineroar going for that Fake Out onto the Raging Bolt and a Trick Room. I don't think the Zacian can actually knock out the Calyrex with a even actually maybe with a critical hit, but at neutral, I think the Calyrex is quite safe to then set up a Trick Room, and then the next turn, because it's at +1 attack, it could potentially just knock out the Raging Bolt with that Glacial Lance, even with the Raging Bolt having, terrestrialized out of course, the Zacian does have to be a bit more careful of, but Zacian is not Zamazenta, it doesn't have Wide Guard, so it's not really as big of a threat, and Incineroar can just swap in and out with those parting shots and reduce its attack down even further.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you're trying to use the move Future Sight right here, as I'm really keen to see whether what you predicted does come true. So Kyogre does actually switch in place of the Zacian, gets faked out, and then Volt Switch goes into the Calyrex, bringing the Zacian back in. But the Glacial Lance is actually the move of choice from Cammy on the Calyrex here, so not actually opting for the Trick Room. So that's a very interesting play to me, as I feel as though B now has speed control. They've got type advantage over both of Cammy's Pokemon here. This feels like a very, very well predicted turn from B to really capitalize on the board position they want to have. Unless I'm mistaken here, no, I'm not going to say it. There's only one thing that can go wrong for B, in my opinion, right now, but I refuse to be the person to say it.
Well, B has what I can see is an 85% chance.
No!
Well, actually, 85 times 85%. I need a calculator to figure it out. But I mean, Calyrex, I think Incineroar at this point, well, both Calyrex and Incineroar are in range of getting knocked out by the Origin Pulse. So I think we're just gonna have to see whether this Kyogre has eaten enough sandwiches and loves its trainer enough. But the Ditto is switching in and copies the Zacian with the +1 attack.
Wow, so you were talking about how influential Zacian Ditto can actually be. Oh
it missed.
No, my heart.
Did I miss?
No, you've cursed them, Zoe. So that was an Origin Pulse miss onto the Ditto, transformed into the Zacian. Now, I don't know the numbers exactly, but I do feel as though Mystic Water Kyogre in rain, that may well have been a crucial knockout on that Ditto on that turn. So that miss of an Origin Pulse was so unlucky for B there. They targeted perfectly, predicting the Calyrex protects, so going for moves that will hit into the Ditto slot twice, whether it was Incineroar, Ditto, or Miraidon switching back in, whatever Cammy fancied, really. That was a really, really key miss. I'm so sorry if we've cursed you, B. If you want to throw rocks at me, please just do it gently, because I will cry. But this is now a very, very tense game, as I don't know the way Ditto works, but I believe Ditto would have similar or the same speed to B Zacian, so this could end up being a speed tie to decide who's restricted, takes out the other restricted first.
Yes, at this point, I think Cammy No, the Zacian on, I think Kami's play would be to actually swap out the Calyrex for the
Ooh.
Incineroar to get that Zacian down to -1, and then use the Ditto Zacian to knock out the Kyogre with a Play Rough. I think
Ooh.
that's. But then you have to connect the Play Rough as well, which is 90% accurate. So it's a little bit tight here, but that miss from the Kyogre's Origin Pulse really hurt B, and I'm gonna have to see how the players try to play their way out of it.
Yeah, it's devastating to see, but the Zacian on
Oh.
Bisa does actually hit first into the Ditto, knocking out Origin Pulse, taking out Kami's Calyrex as well. So this time, everything falls in B's favour as Miraidon and Incineroar are now forced out, as Kami's last two Pokemon, whilst B does actually have 3 Pokemon left still.
Yeah, B's got 3 Pokemon, but they're all kind of. Well, actually, there's the Raging Bolt in the back, which is really nice against the Miraidon, because Raging Bolt is also Assault Vested. So, although the Miraidon Kami side is also Assault Vested, so you can see both the Kyogre and the Zacian, they are in range of getting knocked out by any electric type move from this Miraidon, and the Miraidon can switch out its moves, so it's not actually that devastating for Kami to be down to Miraidon as his final Pokemon. But the question is then, can the Raging Bolt in the back get rid of this Miraidon? Also, well, actually, no, Zacian, now the Miraidon's in Terra Electric, can't actually be knocked out in one hit by any Play Roughs. So we're just going to have to see whether or not the Raging Bolt has enough gas in the tank.
Oh, I'm hoping it does. We are going to see Zacian and Kyogre both going for a Protect, so B, again, playing very, very critically, not risking a single Fake Out onto either of their Pokemon. So Kami actually reading into that and predicting a switch on the Zacian slot, not going for the Fake Out, but trying to capitalize on, again, that ever-looming threat of Fake Out. Fake Out itself is a scary move, but the threat of Fake Out is what really gets trainers on the edge of their seat. That's what causes them to make aggressive or defensive reads and plays. So here we're seeing Kami trying to capitalize on that and try and take out either the Zacian or the Raging Bolt if it was to switch in, as it went Terra Electric. So I think that's just a neutral attack, which may well be enough to have cleared it up. So there was a lot going into that, but B, I'm quite fond of that turn. I'm quite fond of the decision to go, yep, I'm going to be playing safe. I'm going to take it slow. I'm going to let you waste out your time on Fake Outs, because Incineroar cannot switch. So it is now locked into using attacking moves, which is far more predictable than having to deal with Fake Outs.
Yes, I agree. That was a really safe turn for B. So now there's no more threat of Fake Out, but there's still a full health Miraidon left up against the Kyogre and Zacian at -1 attack, so it's not really going to enjoy taking any sort of attacks. And I wonder if B might just sacrifice one of their Pokemon to this Miraidon to allow that Raging Bolt to come in on the back and just try and slowly whittle down this Miraidon.
So we are going to see, going for a Behemoth Blade, doing minimal amounts of damage into that Miraidon, as Miraidon swings back, says, no thanks, Kyogre, I'm going to crit you and your entire bloodline will feel that, and Incineroar goes for the flare, but it's into the Zacian, taking that out, so that's leaving B just with their Terra Electric Raging Bolt. So it's key to remember, and I love how you've brought this up because it's so important. This Miraidon is not locked into that Electro Drift.
Yeah.
It's able to switch out its moves, go for Draco Meteors or Snarls into the Raging Bolt. So this is a very threatening position for Kami to be in now, having 2 Pokemon against 1. Yeah, Raging Bolt's a monster, but is it monster enough to take out both of Kami's Pokemon? I guess we'll just have to see, right?
Yeah, well, Miraidon can just snarl and let the Incineroar do all the work. Actually, it's just going to go to Electro Drift, and that does surprisingly a lot onto this Raging Bolt. And that Draco Meteor coming back, but yeah, the Raging Bolt is just going to get felled by a knockoff. So very well played from Kami there. I think, there was that one turn earlier where the Calyrex, I thought maybe the best play was to go for the Trick Room, but didn't quite, there was one point where the Kyogre was in a really commanding position, but it wasn't very accurate, and Kami managed to really capitalize on that turn and just swing the momentum back, and I thought it was really close game. It could have just gone either way at any of the turns, and it was quite thrilling just to watch the pendulum swing back and forth in terms of the advantage to each player.
I mean, it was genuinely just such a crazy fun set to be watching, and I guess that end game really shows why the Raging Bolt is the past Paradox Pokemon and doesn't exist anymore because it was in fact wiped out by the future Dragon and Electric type Pokemon there. So Miraidon opting to go for the Electro Drift, which really did do far too much damage, right? Assault Vest, not very effective. It still did 40% damage.
Yeah, I was surprised.
That's ridiculous output, and it just goes to show the strength of some of these restricted Pokemon that trainers are bringing. So, in terms of adjustments, what are we thinking B needs to do to try and swing this back in their favor and take the whole week for their team?
Well, I think both the players played really, really well in that game, and I think, there was that one turn where that Kyogre, I think, missed, but you can't really predict when to miss. The Whimsicott didn't quite do very much for B. It got knocked out instantly and gave the Calyrex a +1 attack. And I'm wondering, because Cammy's Calyrex does not have a clear amulet, maybe B might want to think about bringing out Incineroar, maybe? That's got Fake Out, and it's also got Taunt, so it can stop any worries about Trick Room, and Leech Seed. And with, Glacial Lance being the only attack, that Incineroar's in quite a comfortable position, especially up against an Assault Vest Miraidon, which really can't actually knock out an Incineroar at full health without that Choice Specs boost. So I'm kind of curious if that's going to be an adjustment.
You know what? That is a line of play that I did not even see myself. I mean, I cannot agree more. I genuinely think that reasoning is spot on and may well be what gives B the edge over Cammy as we jump straight into this next game.
Yes, so for our game 2, our players are going to be leading with Calyrex and Miraidon once again for Cammy, but it's going to be a bit of a switch up with Amoonguss and Kyogre. So Amoonguss here, not in the best of the positions, can't put anything to sleep on the electric terrain, doesn't really like taking Glacial Lances up against this Calyrex either, but it can draw away any electric moves from this Kyogre, and Kyogre with the Rain Boost and the Mystic Water can deal a lot of damage up against Cammy's team, but Cammy's also got a Snarl Miraidon, so I think this might just be a nice move to click just to neutralize the Kyogre, because at this stage, this Amoonguss is kind of useless.
Yeah, it's. I feel like it's a case of B's led the right kind of things. However, Cammy's not like quote unquote standard like move choices for their Pokemon to actually be having are potentially going to be punishing them, because normally you'd be totally fine with an Amoonguss saying, I'll just tank, your Electro Drift, Volt Switch, whatever, leaving Kyogre safe after, a Rage Powder or something. But the Snarl is really going to be hitting so hard into the Kyogre. So Calyrex clicking a Safe Protect, and Amoonguss saying, look at me, hit me here. And you've called it spot on, Zoe. Wow. I feel like you're acting like a Mega Alakazam here with that giant IQ. I mean, that Snarl reduced the damage output in 2 layers of that Water Spout from Kyogre, both reducing the special attack and reducing the HP of Kyogre, which the damage output of Water Spout is actually based off of. So playing very, very safe from Cammy and really making use of that Assault Vest Snarl Miraidon to just slow the pace down, just slow the game down, and we're going to play really, really carefully and then go, bosh, now I can start swinging through once I've gotten my Leech Seeds, once I've gotten my buffs and my Calyrex. So this is a really, really good position for Cammy to be in right now.
Yeah, Kyogre just is really heavily nerfed with that -1 special attack. You saw how well that Miraidon took a Mystic Water, rain boosted Water Spout off of about 85% health Kyogre, and there's nothing really stopping that Miraidon from clicking Snarl again. And Calyrex can also just go for Glacial Lance, just completely get around the Rage Powders. Amoonguss, it can Terrastallize out of that Ice weakness, but then, I think the Amoonguss is it's a Terra Water type, so that could help, but then you've used up your Terra option. So Amoonguss, I can see B just switching it out because it's not really doing that much in this position.
Yeah, it almost feels like Cammy's gotten a really strong pin on B just from the leads. So we are actually, oh my gosh, you're really, really good at this. So the Amoongus does immediately switch out, bringing in Zacian. Kyogre going for a safe protect, but the Miraidon going for an Electro Drift. That did so much damage. And the Glacial Lance actually cleans up the Zacian on the resisted hit, getting itself a buff. And Raging Bolt is now forced into play. Why does Miraidon do so much damage? That wasn't even a choice specs. That's Assault Vest.
Yeah, I think it just goes to show that Zacians normally invest a lot more training in their offense because they have to rely on their offense. And I think we're also used to seeing a dog on the screen. That's the shield doggy, Zamazenta, having all of its training in defense because it doesn't need to be offensive. It can rely on body press. That we're just used to a dog tanking electric moves, and we're forgetting that a lot of Zacians don't actually have that much defensive training, and so you saw how much damage it took. And now Raging Bolt, Assault Vest can probably be a really nice Pokemon against the Miraidon, can use the electric terrain that Miraidon set to its advantage. But then again, this Miraidon once again can go for those snarls, and that Raging Bolt and Kyogre both being special attackers aren't really going to enjoy getting their special attack dropped.
Gosh, yeah, that is a really, really important point that you've highlighted. So B has been left with, yes, they did initially have, one physical and one special restricted, but with the physical restricted out of the way, Snarl is going to be one of the most devastating moves that Cammy can just keep clicking over and over again. And yes, it's not 100% accurate. However, at any point, if it lands, that is just going to mean that Cammy's going to be able to keep playing slower, keep clicking Leech Seed or Trick Room or whatever they want to bring, really. It's a really, really devastating loss on that one turn. So Electro Drift coming straight into the Kyogre, finishing it off from 85%. Draco Meteor not quite taking out the Miraidon. That Assault Vest coming in clutch. And the Glacial Lance getting one more buff for Calyrex, leaving B left alone with one Pokemon, that last little Amoongus. Now, I'm not sure about you, Zoe. I feel like we might be able to let this one play itself out, as this is a very commanding position for Cammy.
Yeah, Cammy hasn't actually revealed his last two Pokemon, and poor Mungus, going for the Protect, just wants to keep itself safe for this one turn, but there's absolutely nothing it can do against the Miraidon. And the Calyrex, that Draco Meteor did so much to the Amoongus.
Wow.
And Calyrex taking off that final KO, and wow, what a dominant game too. Cammy just not even revealing their back to Pokemon just goes to show how strong that, Bolt Beam, or fan-made term for the electric and ice coverage, can be. And actually goes to show that Assault Vest Miraidon put in so much work in that game because of the ability to switch up its moves.
Yeah, and being able to survive huge hits. Again, we all know that Raging Bolt is crazy powerful. The fact that it was able to survive a Draco Meteor when it has when it hasn't even Terrator, a super effective Draco Meteor, like, chat's popping off right now, and rightly so, because that win for Cammy does mean that Silicobra Kai are moving on to the semi-finals of UKITT this year. I can't quite remember the name of the team that they'll be playing against. I can have a look later and feed it back to our future casters, but they will be moving on, so they are in the top 4 of UKITT right now. It's crazy to think, Zoe, that we've been going for a million weeks at this point, and we are so close to finding this year's champion. So well played to both trainers. B, again, my heart goes out that you've had a 4-manager gauntlet through UKITT.
That's
and
a pretty rough matchup. Yeah.
And they've played so well. It just goes to show, right? Like, that's what UKITT's about. We play together, we build together, and everybody stands an insane chance to be able to play against literally anybody. I mean, yeah, well played to both trainers. Commiserations to B, and well done to Cammy for getting that final win through. I just want to I want to watch more games, Zoe.
Yeah, well, congratulations to the Silicobras for advancing, because that was such a thrilling final 2 matches to watch. And as you said, I think I might need to take a bit of a breather after those blistering, especially that final game. Just so well played, and my goodness, the players just getting all the predicts and turns correct. So we're gonna let our viewers take a short break, maybe grab some ice cream, grab some popcorn, and then we'll be back with the next few matches of UKITT.
Awesome. See you later, trainers.
Okay. Hello everyone. How is everyone doing? Welcome back. We're definitely prepared. And here, I'm back for another stream with my lovely host, Josh.
Hello, how is everybody doing today? I hope everyone's having a great day. I'm having a great day personally. How about you, Whammy?
Yeah, I've been having a great time. I've been playing a lot of Showdown, trying out a bunch of stuff today, regretting all of my ideas, and then just going, cool, the tournament I was going to play this evening, I'm not going to do actually, which is probably the best. I got a message saying that there was another spot for me to claim. So yeah, I'm excited to be here, and which team are you on again, Josh?
I'm on the Garchomps.
Oh, nice. How is that going at the moment?
Yeah, I just played the other Jack. Well, a Jack, not the other Jack, and he kind of beat me. We played this really fun format where we found like really bad teams that have gone like 1-7 in like or 2-6 in a regional, and then we span a wheel and played 3 best of ones, and he beat me. So
that's amazing.
So I'm a little bit annoyed. I can't lie. I can't let that man one up me. However, I do have a funny story of when we played rock paper scissors once, and I was talking to somebody else, and he came up to me and he was like, "Oh, let's play a game of rock paper scissors." I was like, sat there like, "Oh, okay then." So I had my hand like this, and I was talking to somebody, and this man went rock paper scissors, and then went scissors when I just held out rock, lost. What even paying?
Incredible.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing your wildcard thing isn't going to be an option for UKITT going forwards, because that does sound pretty good. Just saying, maybe that should be an inspiration.
I don't know.
Maybe a new wildcard format that Showdown could add in. That'd be great fun. But yeah, how about we get on to our first set?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so looking into the first set, so we're going to be playing Reg H, which, for those who may have watched the last couple of weeks, is clearly a format I'm very well versed in. And I'm not at all terrified by that 4th slot, that Sneasler, famously the most popular Pokemon in all of Reg H. And our first player is Cillian. Running a Como. I don't remember Como being that big in Regulation H. Did you play much of it, Josh?
I'll be honest, me and Reg H, we've got a love-hate relationship. Not a big fan of it, and it's not a big fan of me. But what I can say about Komoro is it's one of them Pokemon that just kind of pops up now and then. It won a Reg E tournament, and then it had a really good running Reg F with like a Ting Lu team, but not really sure about Reg H. I'm excited to see kind of what this one brings.
Yeah, it'd be really interesting. I'm just looking through the team. I'm recognizing obviously that there's it's a triple fake out team. So, just in case you wanted, just in case you're worried that through all the dire claws, sleeps and paralysis, your opponent might actually get a turn. You've also got the fake outs just to, really hone in on that single player experience.
Yeah. But he is the type of guy, though, that who would think bringing Reshiram to EUSE was a good idea.
Hey, I mean, the fire type? It's a fire type, right, Reshiram?
It's a fire dragon type.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, you can tell that's how popular of an idea it is. And I actually wasn't entirely certain on which typings it had. At least that's neutral to fairy. I don't even know what its ability is.
So, anyways, the Sneasler is poison touch, so we'll be going for them poisons more than probably sleeps. Obviously, like we said, there's triple fake out. Plus, you've got a bit of a trick room option there for the hyper offense teams. And Komoro in this type of format where there's no Flutter Mane, no Terra Fairy, Gleam, Miraidons, very strong dragon type, only really being targeted by the Dragapults of the and Archer Ludons.
Yeah, I mean, very quick. So I guess that's where you want that trick room to be used to kind of, well, reverse the speed orders and make sure you're always going first in those cases, just so you can really easily handle those very scary Dragapults.
Yeah.
Should we go on? Yeah, let's do it.
So this is my man Sean, fellow Garchomps member, running a very standard rain team. You got Archleon, you got Goldengo, you got Insync, you have Grimmsnarl. I love me some Grimmsnarl gameplay. You've got the Basculegion and you got the Pelipper.
I'm gonna be honest, I love this team as well. I think this is great. Chaladon, one of my favorite newer Pokemon at the moment. As soon as I saw it was added, it was like one of the first things I did was shiny hunt one. So that was good fun. But yeah, I'm loving this team. It looks really fun. I'll be honest. Really loving the fact that you could also potentially go for an absurdly fast Basculegion with the Tailwind and Swift Swim combo.
Yeah, and I also like the fact that it's not banded, so you can swap moves, because usually how you play against these Basculegion teams, you can get them locked into a move, you can just kind of swap in and out and get it locked into the wrong move, right? So having a Life Orb will allow you to swap in and out. And Sean, first time UKITT player, many time Rain enjoyer. Come on, you Garchomps.
Honestly, the loyalty really strong here. But how about we get into the match and see if all the training in the Garchomps has brought Sean up to the power of being able to win this match. So starting with the Rillaboom and the Primarina from Cillian versus the Goldengo and the Grimmsnarl on Sean's side. Definitely didn't just see a cheeky fake out coming out there.
Yeah, so on Sicilian side, you've got obviously the Rillaboom that can fake out. It can also Wood Hammer if it so wanted to. You know, there's a lot of damage that you can do, but obviously you are scared that this Grimmsnarl can just set up screens and just sort of prolong the matchup to a point where you can, even if rain does go up, you can survive the rain turns and put the game into your favor. Especially with the Grimmsnarl. Well, it doesn't actually have Thunder Wave. It's got a Parting Shot, so it can even sort of stop damage coming in and out and stop any boosts from happening.
Here we see the Fake Out coming out into the Grimmsnarl, trying to stop that light screen coming up. The nasty plot on Goldengo, matched by the Calm Mind from the Primarina.
Yeah, so I feel like the Goldengo's in a very, very scary spot, right? Because it can just click Make It Rain. And as we said earlier, there's a lot of Pokemon on this side of the team that can click Fake Out. But Goldengo is a Ghost type. So it's just going to go straight through it, and the Goldengo can just Make It Rain. And it's still going to really chunk that Primarina, even if it is +1.
Oh, yeah. Fortunately, the Primarina, as much as I always forget this, water actually resists Steel, meaning it's only a neutral as opposed to a super effective. Just due to the Primarina Fairy type. But yeah, it does mean that we'll get to see potentially a lot of damage coming out here. Primarina protecting, knowing this Goldengo's Make It Rain will do an awful lot. The light screen comes out, really bolstering Goldengo's defenses as the Make It Rain unfortunately misses the Primarina target.
Yeah, so I feel like this is a solid turn from both, right? You're not really losing anything from clicking Protect on the Primarina. The Goldengo can just click Make It Rain. You know, the Grimmsnarl did click Light Screen, stopping some of that damage coming from that Primarina. And then the Insane now can come in. It can take, well, it's an Incineroar. It can take some hits especially from that Make It Rain. It is Safety Goggles in Assault Vest, so, but it does have Flare Blitz. So, you know, that sort of, we're in a position now where the Insane could probably maybe try and click Flare Blitz into the Goldengo, or you might see a Reflect and just trying to slow it down.
I would say, I wonder if the Grimmsnarl would want to go for the Parting Shot, but it seems here, getting the Spirit Break and the Goldengo, hearing out your thoughts, going for the Protect, absorbing both targeted attacks into it, which is really helpful on just lowering down the Primarina's long-term threats with that Spirit Break, just reducing a special attack back down to neutral. here I would be wondering, could the Grimmsnarl be looking for the parting shot so you could go for a quick pivot into the Pelipper to properly protect the Goldengo by reducing the Flare Blitz damage from with Drizzle? Something like that might be quite helpful.
I feel like if you're going for that play, I'd love to see a nasty plot coming out for that Goldengo as well. Because you know you're going to survive the Incineroar. And like you said, you're going to drop the damage. But what I would be scared of is the Primarina clicking Hyper Voice in the rain. So we do see the parting shot. But it's into the Incineroar.
Ooh, that's an unfortunate mistake or a prediction, maybe.
Yeah, so you do lose that Goldengo. You do deal a lot of damage though into that Incineroar and the Primarina, and you do get the Archaludon in. So even though it doesn't look great, you know, the Rillaboom has taken a big chunk. The Primarina is on 60% health. The Incineroar's at under 50. So you might be able to just sort of slow down the game even more. You could go for maybe like a Reflect with the Grimmsnarl and click whatever you want here with the Archaludon. Maybe even Body Press into the Incineroar just to deal a little bit more damage. And
I can just see here this Grimmsnarl wanting to just switch into being suddenly a bird, just allowing the Archaludon to potentially go for an electric shot straight into the Primarina would be really nice for setting up into long term. So unfortunately, the Grimmsnarl parting shot going to Primarina Protect as the Archaludon does prepare its Electro Shot. So that probably was the plan here, switching into that Pelipper so that the Primarina goes straight down. But the Protect really disrupting the plans here for Sean.
Yeah, so I feel like Sean might have tunnel visioned here and thinking, oh, I can get this KO on this Primarina, forgetting that it can always just Protect and then you're still stuck. Again, I think I would have liked to see a Body Press into that Incineroar slot, especially because you know, like, you can deal some damage, maybe get the KO, and that Primarina is not doing much back at the moment.
Yeah, the Sneasler here coming in isn't the most threatening in this situation either, though. Having only the Dire Claw attack, which Archaludon is immune to with its Steel typing.
But we do see the Electroshock. And we do see it going into the Sneasler and a Terra from the Primarina. So that means that this Primarina is now Terra Grass. So these Electroshocks are not going to do that much more damage. And what is a bit scary is that this is getting a plus special defense. And the biggest, you know, even if you think there's a bird in the back, which has not been seen just yet, that bird's not going to do much if this Primarina can get enough boosts.
Yeah, I mean, right now, the only thing that could realistically do any damage to the Primarina would be the Incin. But the Incineroar doesn't really want to be sitting there in front of a Primarina. So we're going to see, the Grimmsnarl taking its end of turn Poison Chips. The Primarina, again, protects, you know, playing this very standard balanced behavior, switching to the Pelipper, which takes the Dire Claw and is put to sleep. This is the experience that we all know and probably had our own fair share of throughout all of Reg H.
So I feel like in this position, Sean really needs to swap that Pelipper out, right? Because the Pelipper is the only thing that's going to get through this Primarina with the Hurricanes, and it's currently asleep, and you can't afford to let it go down. The Archaludon is actually in a quite good spot because it doesn't really take much from the Primarina. You know, the Incineroar can't really hit it that much without giving it a defensive boost. And if it does give it a defensive boost, then them Body Presses are going to do a lot of damage themselves. What you could even do here is even start trying to KO the other slot, like this Incineroar slot, the Rillaboom slot, and then trying to self-hit, you know, for the defense boosts. So you can try and do more damage to this Primarina.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yes, being able to build up that defense. I get it. So we saw the Primarina go for the Moonblast there into the Archaludon and get the fortunate special attack drop, negating the damage boosts the Archaludon's gained with these Electro Shots. Is this the second time we've seen that Moonblast drop the special attack with the Archaludon?
I think it is, yeah.
Yeah,
think it is,
that's really fortunate in Cillian's case.
Yeah, so if we
So we're going to
we
see
do
him
see the
fake out
fake
from
out.
So builds up the defense even more as the hurricane comes in. The Pelipper wakes up quickly, sends that Rillaboom back to sleep, and it's just the Primarina left hyper voicing. Is it able to get off? I mean, in this situation, it's about to take a hurricane, isn't it?
Yeah, so what you see here is that you suspect that this Pelipper is going to be clicking Hurricane into Primarina, and you're just going to be clicking Body Press. This Primarina is just not going to do enough damage on its own against 3 Pokemon, even if it is spread.
Yeah, which is unfortunate because the Primarina all by itself could really do with at least getting the advantage to go first. But we're going to see here the Primarina just.
So we
take
do
a
see the Hurricane, and it does 45%, and then the Body Press does pick it up.
Yeah, I'd be interested to know how much damage the Body Press does. Could that do enough by itself? But yeah. Ooh, cheeky emote. Love it. Incredible loyalty. We're going to see not all a bit of favoritism towards certain players here. Don't worry, I'm on Team Cillian here to balance it out.
Sean, my go. See, that's the Garchomp difference right there.
I'm not running a Garchomp, just to point out. Famously, a pretty good Pokemon in Regulation H, not running it.
Yeah, I feel like Sean really played that end game well, considering the sort of the Grimmsnarl, what I would say, not the fortunate turns that you would kind of expect. Parting Shot into Protects. The Spirit Break I thought was a really, really good play to sort of stop the damage coming in. I thought when the Sneasler came in, you could have clicked maybe Reflect and tried to play off of that a bit better, but he really preserved that Archaludon really well and stopped sort of it getting hit really hard by maybe a close combat from the Sneasler. But it actually doesn't, now I'm looking at it, it doesn't have close combat.
Yeah, it's only got the Dire Claw, meaning the only thing it can do is potentially coaching boost something else against it. The Archaludon is completely immune to the Sneasler. It's incredible.
Yeah, so maybe now we might see that Komodo now. Because, you know, Clangor's Soul is a good move. It does a lot of damage.
What type of Clangor Soul? Do you mind explaining what Clangor Soul does again?
Is that the boost one? Hang on, I might have to just do a quick check here, because I know one does boost and then one like attacks, but I can never remember which one it is.
Yeah, I've got a feeling this one might be the one that costs you stat. But I'm also curious to see if the P2 could make an appearance actually on Cillian's team. The Terra, being Terra Ground, would actually go quite nicely into the Archaludon with the lack of ability for the Sneasler to touch it. And once the rain's up, the Incineroar's Flare Blitz isn't doing anything either. So all you can rely on is the Como or the P2.
Well, I was just sitting here thinking of like how you might be able to get rid of this Archaludon, right? Because this Clangor Soul is a +1 to all your stats with a -33%. But what if you were maybe to be able to coach the P2 and sort of Terra Ground, start Terra Blasting things? That could be a way out as well.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking. But maybe Cillian will agree with us and we'll see it in Game 2. Shall we move on to see it?
Let's do it.
Right, here we go. So, Komao and Incineroar lead. Here we go. Baskia Legion and the Grimmsnarl from Sean. So we're seeing immediately the attack drops from the Intimidate, from the Incin, onto both the Baskia and Grimmsnarl, which are both physical attackers. So very effective here. And the Komao is probably going to be wanting to just pop off straight away with a Clangor Soul.
Yeah, I feel like this Komodo is in actually a really, really good spot. You've got to not be tempted to Terra it, of course, but the Baskia Legion, I guess you can't really fake out, and it could, you know what, you could see maybe a swap from the Grimmsnarl into the Pelipper, just a wave crash into that Incineroar, just going really aggressive turn 1.
Something I would be quite wary of in this situation, though, is the Grimmsnarl. Yes, it's got a -1 attack from the Intimidate. However, that Spirit Break is still 4 times effective against the Komao. that's probably still a delete button right there. Combined with the Baskia Legion being on the field, being able to cover for its Fire Terror, that may actually be a really scary position to Komodo, depending on what happens here.
So we do see the fake out that does go into the Grimsnarl. And we just do see a nice little flip turn from the from the Baskia Legion, sorry, into the Incineroar, and then going straight to the Archaludon.
Ooh, okay, there we go. We see the Komodo going for all the speed increases of the Clangor of Soul. So that is a plus. That's basically an Omni boost, as it's called, to everything, increasing every stat by 50%. Now, a extremely scary Pokemon for effectively just costing its turn, which was lucky to get off. Now, I'm expecting here the Archaludon maybe doesn't want to be sitting in front of the Como at +1, because even though, yes, it will gain defense boost after being hit, it might not have anything left after being hit, given that Como does have a Drain Punch that'll be super effective.
It does, and in fact, what you mentioned before is that there's a Spirit Break, right? You could just see the Spirit Break from the Grimmsnarl going into the Komodo and just saying you could just swap the Archaludon, because I'd be tempted if I was Sicilian here to click Knockoff into the Archaludon and maybe a Drain Punch into the Archaludon as well, covering for the Baskia Legion swap.
Okay, we see the Como go for the Terrifier, making sure it's safe from the Spirit Breaks. The Drain Punch going into the Archaludon like we expected, trying to go for the heal, but the Archaludon going for the Terra flying to resist it, and instead using that nice defense boost to actually make sure it's knocking that Incin back to its trainer, replacing it though with the Sneasler, which now, it wasn't previously, but now it is able to touch the Archaludon because it is no longer a Steel type.
It is able to touch that Archaludon. However, the Archaludon can also hit the Sneasler. It does have the +1 defensive and the Reflectives up, so I can't imagine it's doing too much damage. But I feel like you need to maybe you've got, I don't know, maybe get the Pelipper in and try and click Tailwind and try and outspeed the Sneasler, because it could be very scary.
Yeah, I will wonder if the Sneasler's Fake Out or Poison Touch could trigger a poison to help whittle down this Archaludon at some point. The second Clangor of Soul, though, coming in, yes, you're getting a double Omni boost now on the Komodo, but that's still 42% HP that you're on. That's going to be scary.
Especially when you know they've got a Baskia Legion, and if you see the Baskia Legion on one of these hybrid teams with the Archaludon, you're probably going to end up seeing the Pelipper as well. And that Komodo now, you know, I know it's +2, but a Wave Crash looks very scary from it.
Yeah, we'll be interested to see if, we know that there's the Baskia Legion in the back. If the Pelipper did come in with the Swift Swim boost to its speed immediately, I don't know how the speed tiers go for Baskia Legion. I know it's a little bit on the slower side compared to Como. Or it's just a little bit on the slower side generally. I don't know how Como's speeds are, so it's possible that it could still go first. But if I was in Cillian's position, I would want to be pumping up that HP fast.
Yeah, so let's just see what happens. We do see the parting shot coming from the Sneasler, and it is the Pelipper.
Again, going for a Drain Punch, going for that potentially very nice big heal, but unfortunately it just falls right into a Flying type, resists it, and not tons of progress. The Sneasler going for the coaching to boost its defenses.
I think personally, I would have liked to see that Electro Shot go into the Sneasler just to get it gone, because obviously you know the Pelipper can Weather Ball this Komodo. You know you got the Baskia Legion. If you can get the Sneasler out, then you kind of, because I mean, Sean does have 4 Pokemon, right? There's no Incineroar. So you just need to start trading resources here. And I know the plus Omni Boost Pokemon looks really scary, but it's got a Terra Blast, it's got a Terra Fire move that is, not doing as much because of the rain, and a Fighting type move against 2 Flying types.
Yeah, I would almost say that the Como right now, whilst yes, it's got lots invested in it, it's effectively what we've got here of the Archaludon and the Komodo, just being these 2 Goliaths at this point. They're both just trying to get they're both just trying to one-up each other at this point. I'm now wondering if we're going to see one of them go down, potentially the Diaclaw going into the Pelipper, though, giving the poison as the Tailwind also comes in to give a speed boost. Yeah, we're seeing the Electroshots coming out. Our Chaladon is now both scary from the physical side and from the special attack side. So it is just all round a very dangerous Pokemon to be ignoring, really.
Sean is in a very, very good position here now. You got the Tailwind up, so you know you're going to be outspeeding the other team. And honestly, I feel like getting the poison on the Pelipper is better for Sean than it is for Cillian here, because if it slept, it'd be a little bit more rough.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see what resource does Cillian have back, because we've only seen 3 so far. We don't know if there's a Rillaboom, a Primarina, or a P2 in the back, I believe. Maybe there's something that could come in and turn the tides in this case. A Rillaboom might be very useful for just... Oh, that Weather Ball really seals the deal there. Yeah, the Electroshot then going into the Sneasler. And I expect, we're going to see a Primarina. It's getting Hurricaned, getting Electroshotted, and that's it. Congratulations to the Garchomps, and congratulations to Sean. Yeah. And I guess congratulations to you, Josh, as well.
My
Well
guy.
done.
My guy. You know, never in doubt with Sean. Absolutely
Very
pulled
well
out the
earned.
bag there. Very happy. You know, not what's the word? Not biased at all. A completely unbiased caster here. But Sean played super well. Super happy for him. I feel like Sicilian could have. I feel like he. When you're looking at like your opponent, right? I feel like a lot of players will sort of go too defensive, especially when you've lost a game 1. And the Kamo looks great on paper and in theory, but you're not actually like its attacks. Like typing wise, it can tech whatever, but you can't deal any damage either. And that's kind of how it was just stuck on the field, not doing much to anything, because you've got a Terra Flying, you've got a Water Flying, you've got a Water type with Rain, and you've got a Fighting move and a Fire move.
Yeah, I kind of... Maybe it's a case of just an unfortunate matchup, which to a degree I think there maybe is an element of that going on here, but the the Terra Fire just feels a little bit of an unfortunate choice in this case. Something, whilst it's understandable because it changes your 4 times weakness to Fairy into a 2 times resist for Fairy, it does unfortunately mean that, in a case where you know there's a Pelipper causing it to always rain and you've got no way to turn that rain off, you've effectively just got a Drain Punch.
And
which isn't doing anything to flying types.
Yeah. So before we move on to our next set, okay, Whammy turned to me and he went, you can sort of take the lead on this next set because I don't know 2018. I also don't know 2018. So we're going to discover, the only thing I know about 2018 is that berries are 50% and that there is no dynamic speed. So if you click Tailwind, you're only going to get Tailwind from the turn after.
Oh yes, we got that lecture from Professor Kiriakou the other week as well, didn't we? About when about the history of dynamic speed orders.
Yeah, so that started in last gen. But
it's only last gen. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that started last gen. This gen, we've got, well, I say this gen, like 2018 is this current gen, but you've got Megas, you've got Z moves, and you've got 50% berries to look at. So a lot of things I think are quite bulky because when you get them 50% berries, they are like an extra 70. Like you basically get a new Pokemon, right? And also, this is closed team sheet. This isn't even open anymore. So,
is it not?
No.
Oh.
So open's only this gen. So normally game 1s, it's about people just kind of figuring out damage rolls, what things are, because a lot of Pokemon will have different sets, right? So, I don't know if you played it on ladder when it was on Showdown, but for example, Lando T could be Focus Sash, it could be Choice Band, it could be Choice Scarf. There's so many different variants, and you don't know until you get into the game and you find out.
So you only know that the Lando is a choice banded Lando when they click Earthquake and you see your health bar go to 0 very quickly, and you go,
Yep.
"Oh no,
Or,
I was not
or
prepared
you're
for
looking
that."
at it and you hit it really hard and it has a berry resist and it hits you even harder back.
Okay, I see. Yeah, that would be an interesting experience. You know, I'm really glad for open team sheets. I used to find it
Yeah.
a little overwhelming when I started, but now I'm really glad about it. Well, how about we go into seeing our first players for VGC 2018? And oh yes, this is a boy, I believe. Yeah,
Maybe.
using the. Oh, sorry, no, it's Costa. Sorry.
Got some beef there.
With the double intimidate. Sorry, Matt Costa. Of course, I know him. But yeah, running a double intimidate team, which is very interesting. And one thing I did notice straight away is I had to look up that move there, Snatch. For those who don't know, I had to look it up, and apparently it's a priority item stealing move. So effectively, once that, I think, Figgy Berry has been eaten up, you can just take another item for the fun of it.
Yeah, this team also did win Worlds, okay? So,
that's true.
Yeah, so we know it's a very good team. Costa's not built anything crazy, but it could still be his spreads. What I do know from sort of 2018 is that Snorlax hits really hard. And it will sit on the field for a very, very long time. That's why it has belly jump, that's why it's got a 50% item, and that's why it has a berry.
Oh, I see. And that's why it's also got recycle. So
Yeah.
it's going to get that berry back the very next turn. Oh, dear.
And then you've got a really, really... and then you've got, obviously, the Salamence that has Intimidate, and then Aerialate when it Mega Evolves.
Oh, of course, yep.
Yep, so that Double Edge turns into a Flying type move.
Right, so would you expect in a team like this, the Salamence to be Mega Evolving every time?
Well, it really depends on if you need that. If you need the Double Intimidate.
I guess, yeah, that would make sense. Yeah, you wouldn't want to Mega Evolve before you were ready to actually use that Aerialate ability, I expect.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And this actually is the first year of Incineroar.
Oh, the reign of Intimidate Incineroar.
Yeah, that's where it started.
Oh, so that's why we don't see any Lando Ethereans anywhere.
Well, anyway, let's move on to our next competitor.
Okay, so this is Samu. I actually played Samu, I think. In was that my first or second match of UKITT? Very tough player. But yeah, running the. I know this one. I know what I get. I know Mega Gengar. That one with the Shadow Tag. Famously used on Perish Trap, and that's all I knew about it.
Yeah, it did win Worlds in 2016. With what's it called? Who won Worlds in 2016? I don't know. Anyway, so do you know how we were saying earlier about this is closed team sheet?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that Lando, it could be Scarf, it could be Banded, it could.
Oh my God.
We see the the Z move on that, right? Funnily enough, the katana on the last slide with Costa was a grass Z move, and this katana is Choice Scarf. This is what I mean by every.
Oh, I see. So that also means that in this case, where we've got that, I assume the ground Z crystal.
Mm-hmm.
That means you have no way of knowing that Earthquake could just turn into whatever this ground Z move's called.
Tectonic plate, something like that.
Oh, it's tectonic. Yeah,
something like that. I didn't play.
I played through Moon very recently, actually, whilst I was on holiday. So I should know this one because I love clicking it.
But yeah, no, you don't know. You don't know it until it hits, and it hits hard.
Right, and also when you see someone click Swords Dance, you're not necessarily thinking, oh, they can just go for the Z. They're going to probably go for a Z move because they really need that extra damage now that they've gotten the +2 boost.
Yeah, so let's move on to the game.
I'm excited to see it. Okay, so we're leading with Gengar and Latias into the Incineroar and the Gastrodon. Yeah,
Yeah, so here the Gengar's in a weird position because it doesn't want to get knocked off. Even though you can't knock off the Z item, um, it's still super effective damage. If it does Mega Evolve, even though you could trap the Incineroar in, you don't know if the Incineroar can U-turn out, and it also loses that Levitate ability, so you can get Earth Powered from that Gastrodon. And also, you've got to be very careful of that Gastrodon just clicking Ice Beams at Latias, because again, this is closed team sheet. Even though we've seen the team sheets, our opponents, our players don't know what the Pokemon have and haven't got. So you might just see a nice little double protect.
So the idea of the Gengar going into a Mega Gengar would be really funny seeing the instant on Gastrodon, because it'd really more be trapped with them than them being trapped with it. But here we see the Gastrodon going for Tectonic Rage into the Landorus Therian, immuning the Z move, the one-time move for the match.
Yeah.
And the Incineroar using Snatch there? Turn
Yeah.
one?
Yeah, I'm not too sure, to be honest. The Snatch, again, didn't play 2018. But if the Gengar did click Protect and you did click that Tectonic Rage, then it would have gone through Protect. It would have still done damage. So,
Oh, I see. Okay.
yeah. So that Landorus swapping was a very good swap for our player there.
Yeah, I'm really surprised as well because, like you're saying, Gastrodon having the Ice Beam, I assume was probably quite a well-known, quite a well-known move choice. So switching the Gengar into the Landorus, which would have taken 4 times from it, was quite brave as well. We'll be interested to see how Samu and Costa both adapt to this. See this Incineroar switch out into the Salamence, getting the getting Intimidate off as the Icy Wind comes in and drops both their speeds. Earthquake hitting only the Gastrodon because everything else is just floating at this point. It's basically just a sky battle with Gastrodon sitting down there, just healing up, going, "What did you do there? I didn't see it."
Yeah, so obviously we know that the Salamence comes in for the Intimidate on the Landorus, and there's no way of knowing that Icy Wind could come from the Latias. You don't know. It could be Tailwind, Luster Purge, it could be anything. So seeing that it does have the Icy Wind, maybe game 2 or game 3, Costa might not make that swap in again.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see as well because of the turn orders, we also know that obviously the Latias goes first. It could now go for the Tailwind if you wanted. And being able to see the Landorus definitely getting the speed order. We're just seeing really the Salamence and the Incineroar just pivoting in and out, making sure that the Landorus is weakened as much as possible as the Ice Beam is revealed effectively by Costa into the protecting Landorus. So now Sam's going to want to be a lot more defensive, I expect.
Yeah, so this Landorus now is not doing much, right? It's at -2, and there's Latias as well. From the moves it's shown, which I think is just Icy Wind at this point, it can't do much into this Gastrodon and this Incineroar. So maybe Costa's putting on a pin here and saying, you know what, this Landorus has to swap out, and when it swaps out, whatever it's swapping out to, I'm going to hit, and I'm going to hit it really hard.
Yeah, I'll be excited to see what is coming out here. The Tapu Fini comes in, puts down the Misty Surge, the Fake Out going into the Latias, and we see the Ice Beam also going in there. Really interesting seeing how the Landorus T being effectively forced to switch out, actually being a nice way of giving an opening into just focusing in on the other slots, the Latias.
Yeah, so Costa's saying, I know this Lando is going to swap out, and I know you've not been clicking Protect. So I'm going to double this Latias to try and get it out of here. Obviously, we've only seen 3 Pokemon from Costa here, and we've seen all 4 from his opponent. So I feel like now, Costa's got to hope that whatever he's got in the back can beat this Fini, else this Fini's going to run through him.
Okay, so we see the Protect on the Gastrodon come out as the Latias goes for a Psychic. Tapu Fini trying to just capitalize on the good positioning, really, going for the Calm Mind, trying to ensure that it ends up being able to get that special defense boost to resist anything the Gastrodon can throw at it, as the berry is eaten by Latias just after being snarled and getting its health all the way back up to 70%. Like you were saying, it's very strong berries.
Yeah, these are very, very strong berries. it might as well just be a new Pokemon at this point, because that thing looked like it could go this turn. Now it looks like it's going to stay on the field for another 3 turns.
Yeah, it looks like something that, in some ways, I almost wonder if somebody would really want to be repositioning the Latias. I feel like in this situation, it's not really contributing as much as they would maybe like right now. It'd be interesting to see what happens in this turn. Okay, yeah, here we go. Seeing the Landorus switched in, ensuring that Latias can be preserved instead for later. The Moonblast coming into the Gastrodon as it just uses a recover. Just goes back up as the Incineroar also continues to click Snarl and lowers Tapu Fini's special attack from +1 to -1 now.
Yeah. However, now this Lando is still on the field, right? And you've got a few plays if you're in this position, because you can double into any one of these Pokemon. Obviously, we know that there's a Z move on the other side of the field that's not been used. Now, if you decide to use that on the Gastrodon or the Incineroar, you're possibly going to take a KO here. Especially with probably the Landorus outspeeding the Fini, you could go for maybe like a Tectonic Rage into the Gastrodon. I'm not too sure if it'll KO it, but you could follow it with a Moonblast if you weren't too sure. Or you could just go for... Well, I think we'll just need to see what it is, because
I'm wondering if we're going to see the Incineroar switch into. I was going to say the Salamence, but here we've got the Kartana revealed, taking the Moonblast, doing less than I really would have expected for a famously quite squishy Ultra Beast. The Ice Beam, though, shot into the Landorus, saying effectively, "Are you sure you want to be here? You really sure about this?"
Yeah, I'm really. Well, I think here is a really, really good position for Costa, because even though you've revealed the Katana, you're putting so much pressure onto that Fini. It's at -1, and it's super. You've got super effective damage coming out, and it's not intimidated, right? So here, I feel like you could go into the Landorus, you could even swap in your own Incineroar here, knowing that they're probably going to swap to try and catch the Gengar, maybe. And basically just get the same position you had earlier and just clicking Snarl every other turn.
Yeah, I would really... we get the Tailwind coming out from Kartana as the Z Crystal is finally used on Samuel's side, using Tectonic Rage, knocking out the Kartana. The Ice Beam going into Landorus does not KO, though. I guess that -1 really does make a difference there.
Yeah, so... This is, again, do you know what we were saying about closed team sheet? And maybe swapping in that Incineroar and keeping that Katana just nice and healthy, just scanning out what it's got. But now you've got Tailwind with this Elemental, and, there's a lot of different moves you could do here. I'm not too sure on the damage calcs here if a Salamence that Megas can just maybe one-shot the Fini. But what I do know, though, is from this turn order... Oh, maybe the Gastrodon might be faster now, because I'm still thinking of the dynamic speed, but no, Tailwind's active from this turn.
Oh, I see, yes. So here we see the Gengar switching in as the Salamence is roosting after going for the... Okay, so you see the Moonblast going into the Salamence. Both sides on Costa's side, just trying to heal up, seeing... let's just see what you're going to do in this situation. The Mega, I expect that's more there to just give a better...
defensive boost, right?
Yeah, defensive boost, yeah. Better stats, being able to tank whatever might be coming in. I mean, there was effectively a Moonblast pointed right at it there. And now it does have the Aerialate boosted double edge available on it. However, with that Tailwind running 2 turns, you really want to use it as soon as possible, right?
Yeah, and I think you need to use it into that Fini.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
That Fini is going to do a lot of damage a lot quicker. Like it's just going to sit on the field and click Moonblast or Muddy Water.
Okay, we see the Salamence switching into the Incineroar. Intimidate's coming out again. Everyone's getting scared. Intimidate's coming out again from the Landorus switching in. And we're going to see the Gengar now Mega Evolving into Mega Gengar. So Incineroar and Gastrodon are trapped with the Gengar. Pretty much like back at the beginning of the game, actually. 10 turns in, and I think all of the Pokemon are the same on the field now. finally.
Yeah,
We see the Earth Power coming in onto the Mega Gengar, knocking it down, and it looks like we get the special defense drop as well, which is very big onto the Gengar.
yeah, we do see that. I think we're going to see the Incineroar move as well from here. Obviously, both Pokemon here are locked into position, so they can't swap because of Shadow Tag.
Yeah, so we're effectively just trapping in, except for, does the Incineroar have a pivoting move?
Well, it is.
No, it doesn't in this case.
Supposedly, this is closed team sheet, so you wouldn't know. But we know it's not.
I
got
guess,
it.
yeah.
But it does have Flare Blitz and it does have Snarl, so it's still very, very threatening. But you know, you need to stall out this turn of Tailwind because you need.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to see the Protect on the Gengar because it is threatened effectively in this situation. Yeah, and the Landorus is also going to Protect. So really just trying to scout out, see what's going to be coming out, stopping anything happening with the Fake Out pressure, and also stalling out this Tailwind so there's only one turn left. The Recover on the Gastrodon, and now we are basically back to the beginning of the game, really, in terms of HP.
Well,
This
only on
Gastrodon
one
happens.
side. Only on one side. The other side
True.
is looking a bit more rough, right? I feel like the Incineroar and the Gastrodon are very well positioned here, because you can't Earthquake if you're the Landorus, because you'll just KO the your partner Pokemon here. So you might be able to see a Rock Tomb, from the Incineroar. Onto the Incineroar just to deal a little bit more damage.
Yeah, we'll see because okay, we're going to see the Mega Gengar switching into the Latias, Earthquake coming out, chunking these in both the Incineroar and the Gastrodon. Definitely setting up better positions on Costa. However, the Snarl coming out brings that Landorus much lower, the Latias much lower, the Gengar is also quite low. So really it's just a case of where is something going to finally drop to 0? And we're probably then going to see it almost snowball, I would expect.
Yeah, I feel like you're going to see, the Earthquake's going to come out, and I think the Psychic's going to come out.
In this case, I would almost expect them both needing to go into the Gastrodon, because if you don't deal with the Gastrodon now, it's just going to recover again. It's just going to stay there for the rest of the game if you don't finally get rid of this anchor for Costa's team. So let's see, where is the Psychic goes into it, and the Earthquake as well. Finally getting rid of both the Gastrodon and the Incineroar. This Landorus finally being able to progress to only the Salamence left. Yeah. And
this is
with the only attack being Double Edge, I think it's pretty clear what's about to happen.
Say it's a 4v1 and it's single target, so I feel like you're just going to start swinging.
Yep. We see the Double Edge. The Double Edge doing, honestly, a quarter of the work there. Big sad. But
big.
But wow, what a game. It was really interesting. You seem so sad that you really wanted Salamence to win, right? You really want Costa to win that one?
I think Salamence is really cool. Yeah,
I agree.
It's just a cool mod.
I will say I'm convinced that it's Game Freak's like secret favorite non-Gen 1 Pokemon at this rate, with all of the forms it gets.
Oh yeah, come on now. We all know that's real.
Yeah.
Like
Gen
1
the
people
Paradox.
Everyone loves a Gen 1 Pokemon, don't they?
No, for the Salamence, it's got so many things. It's got the Mega. It's got 2 Paradox. It's got 2, right? There's only one.
No, it's 2. 2. Right?
What's the other one?
No, it's just 1.
Must be 1. Okay, I thought it was 2.
No, I thought it
must be.
2.
I'm going crazy.
I don't know. I don't play the game. What can I say?
We don't actually play the game. Yeah, let's just go on the match 2 and see what happens here. Okay, so we've got Kartana lead with the Landorus Therian, a lot more aggressive lead versus the Incineroar, and the Tapu Koko making its appearance.
Yeah, I was going to say,
I was really in the best spot to start with, though.
I was going to say, I thought it was a bit weird that we didn't see the Tapu Koko to game 1. And I was going to say, if if we're going to change things up, I think Snorlax would have been really nice in that game. But if you think about how long Gastrodon sat on the field, imagine a Snorlax that can actually deal damage.
I can just imagine like the Snorlax just off the belly drum as well though. You're just cycling recycles and protects up until you finally get that window where Sam would effectively have to just stay still, or they give you a turn to, do whatever you want. Bam! Now you can frustration deal with it. But no, we're not seeing that right now. I think Tapu Koko.
But we are seeing Salamence come in with the Intimidate. So everything is now -2, and you're going to see everything resist a lot. We do see a Volt Switch from the Tapu Koko into the Katana. That's going to deal a lot of damage. And another Intimidate. So this is what we're talking about. Just slowing the game down, going, you know what? You're going to deal no damage.
Okay, so right now, the Landorus and Kartana going into turn 2 with -3 each. Both of these being physical attackers. Really interesting. The fake out pressure as well. I expect we'll probably just end up seeing a double pivot here. How much can you realistically achieve when both your Pokemon do only 40% damage? It's not looking. It's looking like it's quite an efficient use of just repositioning here from Costa.
Yeah, so I was going to say, I feel like you know that there's going to be a swap. So
once again, the snatch. What?
Maybe it's not items. Maybe you you're snap. Oh, you snatch the boost. That's what you do.
What? Oh, I see.
That's
okay.
Really cool.
That's actually a really cool move. I kind of like that.
Anyway,
I assume that's not like a modern day thing, is it?
But now you've got a +1 Incineroar, in front of all these different Pokemon. So
and back then, to be fair, Incineroar's attack stat was quite high for what I assume was like the Sun and Moon era.
I would not know. I did not play the games.
Let me just check that.
But so you do see the Salamence and the Incineroar. I know last time we were saying how good Costa's position was, but now I'm not too sure with the Tapu Fini facing down both the Salamence and the Incineroar when it can hit them both very hard. I mean, we saw last time how the Moonblast did a lot of damage into that Salamence, and a Rock Tomb has lowered that speed so the Fini can outspeed it.
Oh, true. I'd expect them in this case the Salamence to really switch out maybe into the Tapu Koko. Yeah, here we go. Getting rid of that Misty Terrain, bring up the Electric Terrain, the Flare Blitz from Incineroar onto Latias, giving the burn as the Muddy Water comes out from Tapu Fini. Unfortunately, dropping the accuracy of the Incineroar. So whilst it is a very scary, fast, and aggressive Incineroar, it's probably because it's got a bit of mud in its eye, which wouldn't make me the happiest.
Yeah, well, I feel like this Tapu Koko is very, very well positioned, right? There's no Incineroar on the other side because we've seen all 4 Pokemon. There's no Gengar. You could click Volt Switch, but I'm pretty sure back then a lot of these Kokos run Dazzling Gleam, and this is a Choice Bets Koko. So you could just be spamming these Gleams as much as you want because nothing on the on the opposing side realistically wants to take a Gleam because the Katana got hit earlier. The Fini's scared of a Volt Switch. The Latias does not want to take a Gleam because remember, there's no Terror. And the Lando does not, you would expect sort of a ground, the Lando to come in this turn. So, a Gleam Flare Blitz looks really good here.
Yeah, it's effectively the old Miraidon here. But yes, so we're seeing the Landorus switching in, and it takes the Gleam. So whilst, not even half, it's still a lot. And the Kartana being brought in, I guess, to handle the Gastrodon, leaving space to Landorus to go for its Earthquakes. It's still not a great situation for Sammy. Depends entirely on speed.
I don't know about you, Whammy, but do you want to know what my first thought here was?
Oh, let's hear it.
Why don't you just double swap the Gastrodon and the Koko out into Salamence and Incin and just drop everything by -2 again?
Oh, the classic double intimidate from the beginning of the game. Oh, I see. Right. So once again, going back to turn 1 of the game, after 3 turns. Yeah, I'm starting to get an understanding of how Costa's team works. You just keep resetting the game back to the beginning. So, yep, here we see the Tapu Koko is now a Salamence, and the Gastrodon is now an Incineroar.
Oh.
Incredible.
And we
Look at that
see a
Smart Strike doing a whole 25%. If the Rock Tomb into the Incineroar, it did damage a bit.
It
It
did
the amount.
something. But now you've got a Salamence that can Mega, and it will outspeed everything.
It can Mega, it can outspeed, and right now it's also super effective into the Kartana. So you probably want to switch the Kartana out into the Tapu Fini. But do you really want the Tapu Fini to be taking an Aerialate Double Edge?
I don't think you do. But
Yeah,
you need to swap something and do something, because if not, you're not going to do any damage. So let's just continue watching this game.
Yeah, let's see. Okay, the Tapu Fini does come in. The Misty Surge coming out. Mega Salamence. Protect on the Landorus.
We see the
Fake out
fake
is
out.
the Tapu Fini. A Roost. Okay. So, do you want to cover this?
Yeah. So he basically said, I know you can swap any of the Pokemon, or you could click double protect. I'm going to call this, and you can't deal enough damage back to me. So I'm just going to click Roost, regain all my health, and now I can click double edge as much as I want. You know how we were talking earlier about, I feel like here, actually, you might want to swap the Instinct back out. And I think you want to keep some Intimidates for the back. It's working so well so far.
Yeah, I feel like this is a case of just having a bunch of different options, because the Incineroar also does have Snarl on it. So it would be able to drop the Tapu Fini special attack by one stage, assuming it was able to get it off before potentially taking a Muddy Water hit. I don't quite remember the speed orders for the Tapu Fini and Incineroar.
I do feel like, though, in this position, maybe a double edge into the Lando slot, because if you can take out the Lando slot, you basically pin it.
They go for the Protect here. Seeing the Sword stance on the Landorus, clearing that Intimidate drops. As the Flare Blitz goes in, knocking that Landorus really low. So the Salamence definitely could finish it off, not take that much damage. And the Incineroar, you probably would want to see this switch out, I expect now, right?
Yeah, well, this is the thing. If you double edge the Landorus last turn, then it would be KO'd. And then you've got basically the Katana and the Fini, and then you bring in your Tapu Koko, and you've just got your terrain. You've got Incin. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of play you can do here. But I do feel like Incineroar does need to leave, because you need it to be nice and healthy so it can beat the Katana.
Yeah, just needed to just go, okay, I'm going to take a step back, turn to Tapu Koko as Double Edge comes in, finishes off the Landorus, and are we going to see, we're going to see a Moonblast. The Moonblast one-shots there?
Yeah.
What?
However,
I swear I've seen it before not do that much.
I think it was a -1, was it not, last game?
It must have been, I'm guessing. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so I guess that Salamence did go bye-bye, but I hope it was worth it. The Kartana, though, it's going to start taking these attack drops from Intimidate, which are never going to go away for the rest of this game.
Yeah, and especially, well, I mean, this one has Sacred Sword, so it can still hit the Incineroar. But it's just going to be a little bit less damage. And the Fini is also very, very scared. It does have Smart Strike, though, for this Koko. So I feel like some mind games here on whether you can hit the Katana or maybe it protects. But, I mean, I feel like you're just going to see maybe a double...
So you see the Fake Out come out from the Incineroar into the Tapu Fini. And was that a Leaf Blade into Tapu Koko there?
It was a Leaf Blade, yeah.
Interesting, as opposed to the Smart Strike.
Did not do enough damage, and now you've got a 3v1 with Koko, Incineroar, and Gastrodon, which I suspect...
I have a feeling we know what's going to happen.
I feel like we're going to see a Thunderbolt.
Yep, a Thunderbolt, probably bring out a Gastrodon, I would expect here, actually. But yeah, I think it doesn't really matter. I think this has probably been wrapped up.
Yeah, so we do see the Gastrodon.
Thunderbolt, bye-bye. Yep, okay. This is so interesting.
Okay, so I did a lot of damage.
Yeah, I mean, wowzers.
That was so much. A Thunderbolt doing 98% to a Tapu Fini. Crazy. Who saw that coming?
Probably anybody that played 2018, which isn't us.
Hey, to be fair, it's just the old Miraidon.
we all know how good Miraidon is. God, I miss Miraidon
Exactly.
already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Might hop on Showdown a little bit afterwards. You know what? Should we just go straight into game 3?
Yeah, I don't want to think about
Yeah.
Reg H at all. I want to see 2018.
Fair enough. All right, so we've got the Kartana coming back out with the Gengar. Okay, so no double Intimidate combo here to go for. And the Gastrodon Tapu Koko coming out. Really interesting leads, actually. It doesn't feel like either side has got too dominant of position straight away. The Kartana being able to threaten this Leaf Blade onto Gastrodon is quite scary.
I think
this is
I think this is a really scary lead from towards Costa here, right? Because this Gengar can Mega and click Sludge Bomb, even though you're not gonna you could double protect here and Mega, and that would lock in this Coco without it manually swapping out. And not only that, I'm pretty sure the Mega Gengar can deal a lot of damage, and it'll also outspeed next turn, because obviously it's not dynamic, right? So if you Mega this turn, you don't get the speed increase till next turn.
Oh, I see. Do you know if that also applies to defensive and offensive stats?
No, I'm pretty sure that is...
Oh, okay, that's instant.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, we see the Protect, we see the Leaf Blade, and we see the...
Yeah,
sorry,
so
what?
We just see the Seabolt just KO the Gengar. Why? It doesn't really...
What was that? That's crazy.
So here in this position, you expect the Gastrodon to, Terror? No, wait, what? This is
Okay, yeah, we can't...
Yeah,
there's no terroring. So yeah,
oh,
the Gastrodon was stuck, takes the Leaf Blade. Tapu Koko decides to click Electro Drift, if it had it. Mega Gengar was there, so
it's not anymore.
to show its face. Yeah, it was there. And Magic Trick made it disappear. And Landorus is coming because
You know what?
I guess
You know
Sammy
what?
doesn't want to take another
I'm seeing,
Thunderbolt.
I'm seeing a double swap. I'm seeing Salamence.
Oh
and
no,
Incineroar.
here we go, the
Oh,
Salamence.
oh,
And the Gastrodon's
Yes!
Here we go. Incredible. Half damage. Quadruple resist Leaf Blade. Incredible. Tectonic Rage. And with all of those drops.
and it's back up.
And the berries just... Oh, that's absurd.
It is
Incredible.
absurd. You are right. It is absolutely absurd that this Incineroar is back. I suspect that now you could just bring in maybe the Gastrodon, because you wouldn't really expect the Leaf Blade into that Incineroar, and you could just rotate your your Gastrodon back into threaten the Ice Beam into the Landorus, and just click, like, if you want, Terra Flying, Aerial 8 Double Edge into the Katana and try and knock it out, get some KOs rolling.
Yeah, I expect that's what we would end up seeing here. Are we going to see that come out? No, we're going to see the Tapu Koko instead replacing Incineroar. I guess wanting that Intimidate to be available again later, that Fake Out available, as the Double Edge goes into protecting Landorus Therian.
I really like this position from Costa, though, because you've got just two really ridiculous pins, right? Because Thunderbolt into that Fini slot is going to do a lot of damage. And then you've got Double Edge into the Landorus slot, which, again, is going to do a lot of damage. But you know what also you could do? You could also swap in that Incineroar and intimidate it down even more.
I almost wonder if we're going to end up seeing we're going to see the Landorus switch to Kartana here, removing the -2 in doing so.
Let's see how it goes.
Yeah, here we go. Giving the free switch later as the Tapu Fini gets deleted.
We see a Dragon Dance!
Because the Dragon Dance. Incredible. Okay. This is
Costa's going,
very
I
dominant.
know this format. I know you're going to swap. I'm going to click Dragon Dance so I can say it and I don't have to swap.
Really interesting move there as well, because of the free switch that Samu got for bringing the Therian back in, getting to do another Intimidate. The Dragon Dance, instead of actually being able to do the attack, instead of doing the Aerial 8 Double Edge or whatever, instead the Dragon Dance just means that the Intimidate is negated.
Yeah, and
you still get the speed, so you go fast.
You go faster Kartana, so it's really solidified now.
Yeah, I feel like here you're just gonna go after this Katana because you know that your Gastrodon is going to beat the Landorus, right? You've got Ice Beam and it's a ground and flying type.
Yep, we see protects from the Rock Tomb. The Incineroar comes in. Now we know Incineroar wants to fake out, probably into the Landorus.
You
The
don't think
Salamence
you
probably
could
wants to
maybe
just go
swap the
straight to Kartana.
Incineroar around and just sort of bring it in and out?
I mean, I guess
I feel like that's
it's gonna happen, isn't it? It's gonna happen.
Oh,
Yeah.
please, Costa.
Be kind of funny, just like
Oh,
the double edge.
no.
Oh no, into the Landorus.
You do
Okay,
see the
Smart Strike
and
into
you
the
do see a
Salamence.
Swords Dance. But the Katana does go down.
Okay, I forgot. Yeah, here we go. I think that is it. We're gonna see the double edge knocking out the Landorus. What a game!
What a game.
I love these poses. It's great.
It's fun. It's good fun.
Oh man, I'm wishing I got to experience 2018 after that.
I
because
wish I'd experienced the
so
entire
fun.
Sun and Moon form. It looks so fun.
Yeah, the fact that there's all of this wackiness going on, it's so funny to see. And to be fair, after watching the game, I can see why that team is able to win Worlds 2018. So just a reminder that the team that Costa did win the World Championships, which I expect it would not do so well if a team like that was used in 2025 next week.
Yeah, I don't think so too. There's no Mega Gengar. Oh, Mega Salamence. There is Incineroar though.
Or Kartana, actually. You know what? I feel like almost this team just wouldn't be very legal.
Yeah, not at the moment. Maybe one day. Maybe one day.
Yeah, maybe
What?
with champions.
What I will say, chat, okay, is that we did not talk about the poses.
Yeah, they were entirely they're entirely inspired last second.
Like the fact that we're in sync.
Yeah, we just knew we had to do it. That was all. It was inspirational.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So
Yeah, there's great sets. I believe is that all for us for
that is all
this week? It's a shame. That was so much fun though.
oh, we
Yeah,
had a lot of fun.
2 more
Did you have a
games
lot of
after
fun?
this.
I had a
though.
lot of fun. What
Yeah.
about you, chat? Did you guys have a lot of fun?
I should probably look at chat.
I've not looked at chat once. I can't lie.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't have chat.
I'm sorry.
because
I'm sorry, chat. I'm sorry, chat.
Yeah, I'm
I'm
sorry,
really
chat. I'll look at you from now
You mean-
on. I did have you up.
I have stage fright.
I'll be honest, I just get distracted if I look. Anyway, yeah, this was incredible. It's been so much fun. Got 2 more sets after this, though. Josh, do you have any final words you want to say before we head off?
Nope.
Fair enough. Cool. Bye, chat.
Bye bye.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We are here back again. My name is Shmon, and I'm joined here with Mr. Garner Host. How are we feeling for these final two matches?
I am feeling very tense because, as we know, we are in the playoffs. The Shen Pals and Cabalions are the matches we are here to show today, and the Cabalions are up 3-2 to the Shen Pals. As it stands.
Looking very exciting. So that means that these two matches might be very much the deciding factor here. Who will go to that semi-final, of course. So the Cabalians, the only one win, and they are fully locked in and loaded. So that means that Chimpaos will have to retaliate and showcase what they still have in their arsenal here right now to showcase in these matches as well.
Yeah, this is like probably one of the most tense situations I've seen, especially out of since joining UKITT this season. Like 3-2 going into stream, like everything rides on these next two matches. So
yeah, exactly. The feelings are palpable.
I think it's worth we just go straight into the first game.
No, absolutely. Let's see. So as we see, we have Scarlet 17 Cats here with a very interesting Reg I team. As we have seen time and time again, it is Cataract Shadow Rider together with Koraidon itself, of course. They stole their gender from a Yu-Gi-Oh character, but they do play Yu-Gi-Oh. Fun facts, okay.
Yeah, I don't know much about Yu-Gi-Oh, so I would be curious what gender that would be. But should we just let's? Oh, Dark Magician.
I have no idea. Great Skull, right? It's something. I only watched the anime, and apparently they did not play by the rules. So maybe Scarlet is doing the exact same thing by playing Karak Shadow Rider here with the Sun variant of a team here as well. With Koraidon, we have the Fluttermane, of course. We have the Raging Bolt, the Incineroar, and the Brood Bonnet, the classic, to finish it off as well.
We've seen a lot of Mons with the Sun Core throughout Reg I, especially with the Koraidon, and a lot of those fan favorites with the Sun being the Fluttermane, the Raging Bolt, and the Brood Bonnet, all utilizing the Photosynthesis to boost their highest stat. Now, I feel like this is just a solid team comp altogether because of the Sun.
Exactly. The Sun is an amazingly powerful tool that we have seen time and time again, and things like Kyogre are not being used all that often because the surge of Galarian Weezing with Koraidon, for example. So like you're already like feeling less to play the Kyogre then. But I want to state we have a Pollen Puff Cataract Shadow Rider, so like. If we have something bulky that we want to just make sure that heals right back up, the tools are there to have, of course, and of course being able to hit some dark types if they really want to. But interesting choice. I personally, I'm like an Encore player in that regard. I don't know about you. What do you prefer your Calyrex?
I prefer not having a Calyrex in the first place, personally, but I prefer another one.
Me neither. My opponent is not allowed to have it. Me, I'm fine with it, you know?
I prefer to use another Pokemon that will show up later today, which I'm really happy to see. But that going back to that Pollen Puff, it can be used with the Raging Bolt, as it is a big, bulky man. Yeah, so you could always use it to heal it straight back up. So should we? I think it's worth going to our next team.
Yep, let's take a look.
So we have Dave. He owns 0 cats due to allergies. Fair play, and he is on another big double restricted team, that Shadow Rider Samazenta team comp, with of course that Xian Pao and Extreme Speed 1 of choice being that Dragonite over something like Entei that we've seen before throughout this format and Reg G.
Yeah, interestingly to see like the Chimpao as well with the Clover Cloak. We have seen Assault Fest pop up more and more these days, but now with the Clover Cloak, you don't need that Terra Ghost for any potential like fake outs, and you're still able to provide the support, which is really weird to see Chimpao into that role, because Ruination has been such an amazing tool next for it, and then Ice Wind and Taunt. This is so weird if you're thinking about Chimpao before all of these high power mons doing this And now he's just here. I'm helping the friends here. I'll pick up the kills with my sucker punches. Friendship.
I'm going to be completely honest. You took the words straight out of my mouth. Like, we're so used to seeing, like, Icicle Spinner, Ice Shards, Icicle Crash sometimes, and that Sucker Punch, Sacred Sword stuff from a lot of physically attacking Shen Paos. So to see that Dave has more shifted to a supportive variant of that Shen Pao is actually quite interesting to see, and I do wonder how that will play out in the game. But there is one other mon I want to point out beforehand, and that is Tinglu, baby. The stocks are back. The Tinglu stocks are back. I'm just a big fan
Tinglu is a Pokemon. I fully understand. Tinglu has been a Pokemon that has made some formats really break. I remember like the Fisher era, and then really falling off, and then, like you said, making a grand resurgence yet again here. And now, because like it's such a nice support Pokemon with like lowering the special attack of Pokemon, like for example against the Calyrex Shadow Rider, it has a great typing, and it's just defensively amazingly bulky. Like it doesn't even seem to care about Urshifu all that much. Certainly not when it's wearing its trusty Rocky helmet there.
Oh, for sure. And don't forget, those raids are still available for Shen Pao, I think it is this week. So
yes,
make sure you do
exactly.
them.
Yeah, you want that Ruination Icewind Taunt Chimpao? Here it is.
The shiny Shen Pao. You got to remember that one, mate.
Quite important. Let's take a look at the game itself. The players are ready. We are ready. Let's take a look how this match will unfold.
Let's go straight to the stadium. Seeing that Shen Pao Zamazenta from Dave, and from Scarlet we're seeing Koraidon Fluttermane. Getting that sun up instantly to boost photosynthesis is quite a nice deal, especially because Fluttermane is just super fast itself. So
yeah, immediately that we've seen time and time again, Fluttermane Koraidon has been pretty standard from the get-go, as Zamazenta Chimpao also has proven itself to be quite powerful in Rec G. I always confuse G and H.
Honestly, it's been quite popular between both G and I, sorry, not H. Yeah. Wrong format. But I do want to point out this is the regular Sash Fluttermane that we were all pretty used to by now. And the Zamazenta does have Behemoth Bash and not Heavy Slam like it potentially did a long time ago. So we are going to see terrestrialization instantly from Koraidon.
Yeah, no protect on no one's side. Flame Charge just going into that Chimpao. Moonblast into the Zamazenta, meaning Zamazenta still gets to move, and it's just a Behemoth Bash into that Fluttermane.
An eye for an eye, as they would say.
Yeah. The two Icy Winders are gone, and now it's time for Calyrex to come in.
The horses are here! Now, this is the joys of Reg Eye, if I'm honest with you. All the restrictors are out in play, and funnily enough, Koraidon is the fastest thing on board.
Yeah, Koraidon being the fastest, yeah, it is. With +1 speed, it should be the fastest thing, as long as this Koraidon is, of course, trained a little bit in speed as well. But Dave does have the Focus Sash on his own Acid Barraging horse there. So that is the one fear that you should have. Sure, you're able to put that Calyrex to its Focus Sash, but then there's still that Calyrex being able to hit right back again with an Acid Barrage. So this is the most fun part of VGC. Is there a speed tie or not? But it is, rather than that, we see the Brute Bullet switching in. Collision Course into the Zamazenta, not doing all that much with that Terra from the Zamazenta. Acid Barrage coming out and not picking up a kill on any of them. But the Body Press will pick up right where Calyrex wasn't able to pick up the kill.
Yeah, that was a very big turn for Dave, getting rid of that massive threat being the Koraidon, and just in Scarlet's case, changing that board state around to better suit her needs, having that Brute Bonnet out now, and potentially having some Rage Powder shenanigans. Who knows?
Yeah, Brute Bonnet is one of those Pokemon that seems to be quite nice against this composition, because you have the Sun Up, you have the defense boost, you have Sucker Punch to threaten the Calyrex, but there lies the issue where it's still that Focus Sash is still intact. So I am wondering what is going to happen. Is it just going to be the speed tie or not? Is Wyguard coming out from a Zamazenta? Sucker Punch. Let's see whose Calyrex is faster. It is the opposing Calyrex from Dave. and that's just an Acid Barrage knocking out the Calyrex, and now it's a lone Mushroom against two gods.
The Bonnet and a potential third Pokemon in the back. So we still don't know what that last one is. Maybe that's a key bit of secrecy for next game, even to just hide a bit of information, especially when it comes to speeds.
Yeah, so
What a game.
seeing as this was like the development, so immediately we had the standard leads first off. The Fluttermane was the target immediately that we saw. Scarlet really just let it didn't really felt the need to protect, because that's with Sun, of course. Sun, you want to go all out offensive. You got to make the right calls a lot of times, and it's funny to see that Dave just instantly went the same route as well, because Dave could have just gone a little bit more defensive in that play, but with Zamazenta and the Chimpao as their lead, it's like a little bit different kind of position-wise, because you just want to have some damage in with that Chimpao at the very least. So not going for Ruination, not going for Ice Wind, not going for Top, just a straight up Sucker Punch and Behemoth Bash into that Fluttermane there.
Yeah, I think getting rid of that Fluttermane very early on really helped in the long run, because that whole speed, I mean, trading both speed interactions 1-for-1 pretty much was quite handy, as there was no change in speed stats because of it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think I do wonder if the Calyrexes are a speed tying or not. You tend to know that the Sash Calyrexes tend to be a lot just speed based, while the Life Orbs tend to be a little bit bulkier, or even a little bit slower, or even just like they tend to have like different kind of builds. So it's just interesting to see what the potential could be in this second game, what the horses could bring, what the speed ties could bring in this case as well. So let's immediately go to that game 2 and see what the adaptations are.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing this. We reckon that is a bit of a change from Dave, with the Ting-Lu instead of Shen Pao. Still bringing out that Ruinous Pokemon, but changing it up slightly, and we are going to see an Incineroar from Scarlet's side. And
yeah, so immediately opting, both of them, I feel like opting to be a little bit more defensive in that regard. Ting-Lu is a Pokemon that should fear the Koraidon, but that is the fun part about Terra, of course, where it's like Terra Fairy could be a thorn in its eye, especially if you want to try and collision course that, while a Flare Blitz could be very powerful, but then again, could prove not to be enough to KO this Ting-Lu either. So this feels to me like you have to make a call here. Which one of these two might protect? They might just go for the defensive play, I think, to just make sure to not get faked up by this turn 1. I don't know what you're thinking.
Yeah, for sure. But we do have to remember this Ting-Lu does have that Rocky Helmet, so no matter what's going into it, as long as it's a physical attack, it is still going to take a bit of recoil because of the Rocky Helmet. But we are going to see that Fluttermane come into play, so getting that Photosynthesis boost. Incineroar just not clicking a move and just hard pivoting. And double protect from Dave's side, trying to scout out make sure the fake out doesn't hit a valuable target.
Yeah, exactly. Scarlet immediately reading into that, knowing like the defensive play is their optimal play, keeping that Incineroar for potentially later, if for the Calyrex in a later position, or just a position where you would love to have fake out yet again. Now, with this Fluttermane on the field, it is able to dish out some damage, but you're still in this weird call where you have to decide if the Zamazenta is going to Terra or if the Ting-Lu is going to Terra. A potential switch that could happen, but I don't really see the need for that, and just try and see what your best option here is. I feel like a Terra Water Zamazenta seems very powerful, as that is what we're seeing. Moonblast into that Ting-Lu, doing quite a bit of damage. Collision course into that Ting-Lu as well, and that is a grand KO there. Rocky Helmet, Body Press, is it enough for Koraidon? Koraidon hanging on by a thread here as the Calyrex Shadow comes in next to the Zamazenta now.
Yeah, I was wholeheartedly expecting a taunt onto Zamazenta, knowing that Wide Guard can be quite a problem, especially because Koraidon doesn't have that speed boost. It is now underspeeding the speed of the horse. That can cause quite a bit of problems, but going into this next turn, I'm not entirely sure what to expect, if I'm honest with you. There is still Terra live for Scarlet, whereas
Yes.
Dave's already used it up with the Zamazenta, so I don't know if we might see a potential Terra here.
Terra normal on the Flutter main?
Potentially
Is
to avoid the Astral Barrage. But
Is
again,
the
it's
day
one of
one
those-
gonna happen? The day one? Let's go.
It-
I would love to see Terra normal right now. We do have Protect from the Calyrex scouting out as a Korean is scouting out as well. Everyone's scouting out. We have the top from the Flutter main, making sure that the Zamazenta isn't able to go for a Wyguard in the following turn, meaning that now a Icy Wind is the optimal thing to do right now, as you are able to lower the speed, you're able to break the sash on the Calyrex, and your Koraidon might just be able to pick up the KO to this Calyrex just as well.
Yeah, I think that was pretty. Like, the fact that Fluttermane is still alive is a very valuable thing for Scarlet now, because of the fact that there's no more wide guard, so you can just spew out those Icy Winds and slow down the Zamazenta and Calyrex to allow Koraidon to now, after a -1 on the Calyrex, Koraidon should theoretically outspeed, depending on speed, investment, and everything.
No, absolutely.
So, really curious to see how this plays out now that
Oh,
we are
we
to see
have
that
the Ice Wind.
Dragonite.
Yeah.
That did honestly less than I was expecting to the Dragonite.
Well, Dragonite is still decently bulky, right? But like, honestly, the Dragonite barely surviving right now. Icy Wind lowering the speed on the Zamazenta, which is nice, but Incineroar coming in. Incineroar not really having a lot of options here. It should be able to fake out the Dragonite at the very least and potentially pick up the KO there. But then there's still this Zamazenta, which is able to threaten a KO on either the Incineroar or the Koraidon. So let's hope the last Pokemon on Scarlet, her side, is a Pokemon able to deal with the remainder of the Pokemon, because this seems like a tight spot to me. I don't see really the first option here, what they could do. What do you think is like their go-to option right now?
I feel like faking out the Dragonite is a key piece, because there is that choice band extreme speed potential. And yes, it is in a focus, so it won't be flinched, but I'm fairly confident at this sort of HP range it will just get knocked out by the fake out anyways. But I'm not entirely sure, because that Zamazenta is such a thorn in Scarlet's side. It really comes down to what is that last one. And I can't tell, but it looks like Zamazenta is still taunted, I'm going to say. So there is still no wide guard in case it is like potentially Shadow Rider in the back. But we are going to see Terra Water come out. And it's just going to be a knockoff from the Incin with a Protect on Koraidon, sorry.
Yeah, now we have a weird option. Because like the potential that I saw that Dave could have done is, for example, switched out the Calyrex into, like if they were expecting Fake Out from the Incineroar, could have switched in the Calyrex into that slot, could have then Encored the Incineroar into that, could have Encored them, while the Koraidon went for a fighting move most likely into the Zamazenta, and the Zamazenta could have picked up the KO on the Koraidon. And in that position, that would have been worse. And I think Scarlet tried to predict that by going for that Terra Water, making sure that the Incineroar was going to survive. And if the potential Calyrex Shadow was going to switch in, it was going to get hit by that knockoff as well,
So it would have brought it down to that Focus Sash range. I think that was a really good turn from Scarlet. Yes, now it doesn't look like it, because the call was a bit not in her favor, but I think that was a really good play, honestly. Getting rid of that Dragonite was a key thing.
Yeah.
And now we are just going to see that Astral Barrage come out. Instead
of tanking it. Yeah, Assault Fest is powerful right now.
Oh yes, it's Assault Fest. I kind of forgot about that.
Yeah, but now with a Life Orb Calyrex versus a Focus Sash Calyrex with a Zamazenta being able to guard, it feels like a very rough time.
And the Calyrex being at +1 special attack. Can't forget about that one. It did manage to get a grenade boost. It feels a bit rough now.
Yeah, the power of love and the power of believing in your Pokemon might be able to save Scarlet. Like Dave could always disconnect. Like you never forget your opponent. Their ability to can't always like make a wrong call, accidentally attack their own Zamazenta, for example. It can happen. The odds are super small, but you gotta believe.
Throwing for content, I love it. We are going to see the wide guard come out. And this is the joys of speed ties. We knew that in game 1 that Dave's Dragonite, that's the wrong Pokemon. Calyrex outsped.
yeah.
But just then we saw that Scarlet's outsped, so we knew it was a bit of a speed tie situation. And that is a 2-0 win for Dave.
Very well
Giving
played.
the Shen Pals, I believe that means the Shen Pals have their 4th win.
No. It's the Cobalions that have their win.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right. So the Cobalions were able to retaliate. They got that justified boost against that Chimpao. Like, of course, with that optimal typing of Steel Fighting, Chimpao was nothing compared. I say that. I say that as if the Maskers were fighting. But it was still a really good game because, like,
for sure.
what Scarlet saw there was really a really good option still. Like, that was a read he had to make because, like, Dave could have just as well switched out to the characters, as I explained earlier, and being able to encore them. Like, that is such a trap as well. When the first play seems like that it could be too easily punished, you just don't want to go for it, or you don't want to risk it. And well done to Dave to just not risking it and just saying, like, no, I'm not. I'd rather not make this kind of hard read into that and just play a little bit more safe. And I still have my Focus Sash. I still have more resources in that regard. But I still think it was a commendable play by Scarlet there.
Oh, for sure. I'm very much a player that will see things how they are and not manage to think outside the box. But the fact that Scarlet managed to think outside the box and find a potential loss outcome in a way, and managing to prevent that, even though it might not have come up the way that she may have initially seen, but still managing to deal with it. Commendable effort no matter what.
Yep.
And well played to both of our players there. That was a brilliant game. Should we go on to the next game?
Really good game. So, yeah, let's take a look how Chimpao will prove me wrong now. How the Chimpaos will prove me wrong.
Terrifier!
As they are now. As now, commentator's curse, of course. I need to be wrong. That's just how it happens. And we have Jordan here. And he's a failed indie dev. Got as far as taking the demo to a couple of events like EGX and Rest. And a PC Gamer Expo that I'm fairly sure existed for 1 year, but it turns out it's quite hard to go from a game to a complete game. This is very long text and very long fun fact, but thank you very much, Jordan, for letting me read all of that. Jordan has a very fun team, if I might say, because I love Ho-Oh. I think it's a cool Pokemon, and seeing it back in action here is always one of the joys I get when casting these matches. But we have Miraidon, Ho-Oh, Iron Hands, Farigiraf, Iron Leaves, and then we have, of course, Ogerpon, Wellspring. I had to doubt a little bit of doubt there because, like, Iron Leaves.
Iron Leaves. That is.
Yeah.
Now that's a Pokemon you don't really see that often, but it's still quite a decent one. Hang on, I've got to plug something in quickly. My setup's going to die. 1 sec.
That's all right. Like, Iron Leaves is one of those Pokemon where I saw it, I like, okay, it has Quark Drive, okay, yes, Psyblade, whatever. Like, it looks like it's Virizion, you know? Like, out of all the source, Virizion is unfortunately my least favorite. So when I saw Iron Leaves, I was a little bit disappointed about that. But it does get that Quark Drive boost. It is kind of scary in Electric Terrain as well. And it has, like, Psyblade and Leaf Blade are very nice stabs. And then, for some reason, people are playing Mega Horn on it. Like, it's Heracross Jr. You could be very right. I have never played against this Pokemon. I've never played. Yeah. Yeah, I do love, like, this team composition because you have the tail room, you have Miraidon, of course, being able to dish out as much damage as possible. You have Pokemon being able to abuse the speed, Pokemon that are able to abuse the Trick Room as well. And you have that nice redirection as well with the Ogre Pawn Waller as well. Being able to, well, just literally redirect Urshifu mainly, right? Like, I'm trying to think if there's any other like water type Pokemon that are really doing a lot of damage here, single target damage that is, because of course we have Kyogre with the spread in that regard, but Ogerpon with its follow me there.
Yeah, like overall, really interesting team there.
No, absolutely. So let's take a look at what the Kobalians have brought here, because it is Mizutani with fake Gucci socks. My favorite genre is harsh noise, but hate actual loud. Are people just trying to make us laugh here with these?
Oh, most likely.
As we have Groudon, the Whimsicott, we have Iron Hands, Farigiraf, and of course Miraidon with this Choice Scarf, fun set, and we have to mention, of course, the cat in the room, that is Incineroar.
The cat that you see everywhere. I love its ability, Rocky Helmet. Sorry. Its ability. Yeah, I believe that was supposed to say intimidate, but
yeah, that
it's the joys of UKITT, isn't it? Now I do want to point out. My absolute GOAT Pokemon is on the screen right now. The Groudon, a mon I've come to love throughout, specifically Reg G, but it is the Heat Crash, Precipit Blades, and the Bulk Up. It's a big no-brainer for Sun. But then again, everyone likes Koraidon more, which is a pain in the bum.
I mean, yeah, Koraidon getting a boost thanks to its ability. It's also faster. It also has, it looks cool. I like Groudon, don't get me wrong, but Primal Groudon was like my Groudon, you know? That was like the Groudon that I played. So going back to this Groudon, it was suddenly like such a, I don't want to say downgrade, because like it's like Mega Evolution. You love Mega Evolutions.
You insult my boy like that? Gosh.
No. I love him. I love him. Don't get me wrong. It's not a downgrade. It's just like when someone gets a bad haircut.
That feels so insulting.
Well, bad haircut and just lost its fire typing. It's completely fine. But again, we have this tail room team with the Tailwind this time on the Whimsicott, and still Trick Room on Farigiraf. Farigiraf still showing up time and time again. It's never gonna leave. It's so powerful. It's so good. Choice Scarf Miraidon is also one of the Pokemon that I've been loving to use.
Farigiraf's that good that they're giving it away next weekend for Wild Summit.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, Farigiraf is the reason why we're not getting, I don't know, Miraidon. Maybe they should have given away a Miraidon.
Pokemon company would talk about, they're not going to give away legendaries.
No, they tend to always give like the Pokemon that did the least in the match as well. That's the funniest part.
It's probably the reason they want us to pay more money for the regionals, isn't it?
There you go. I'm not gonna speak of
There we go. There's our little.
Inflation. Little, it's a sign of inflation.
Little nitpick of the day,
Yeah. All right, I think our players are ready, and we are very much ready as well. Let's see if the Team Powers are able to get their revenge by getting this final win as well.
We're going to see that Miraidon and the Iron Hands, as well as Ho-Oh and the Miraidon. Now, these are honestly good leads from both players. Like we've seen time and time again, Miraidon leads are going to be good, no matter who they're paired with, whether that's in Reg G or even now in I.
Absolutely, and one of them is, of course, that Scarf Miraidon, which is on the Iron Hands side. So with that fake out support and, of course, the potential to go for a strong Volt Switch into the Ho-Oh, or even just go for a Draco Meteor into the Miraidon, you're having multiple things that you can threaten right now. So Jordan will have to see what is going to be the option happening here.
We do have that potential for a Terror on the Ho-Oh as well, if
true.
If Jordan felt that the Miraidon was just going to Volt Switch into it. We are going to see that Terra Fairy, Dazzling Gleam. Again, time and time again, we've seen it as a great option.
Yeah, especially if there's a attack boosted, Quark Drive boosted, Iron Hands there. trying to low kick your Miraidon there, being able to tank that beautifully. And now you have 2 Pokemon in front of you that are perfectly targets for this Dazzling yet again. This Ferrograph is ready to lend a hand as well, I feel.
And even then, Incineroar can't even go for that fake out because of that Armor Tail ability in the first place. This has been such a dominant turn for Jordan. Oh, voice crack.
It's alright, puberty happens.
We're gonna helping hand boosted Dazzling Gleam is just gonna KO both the Incineroar and the Iron Hands.
Yeah, and now Miraidon plows the ground on the field. Now you have to lock yourself into move. The Terra has already been used on the Miraidon, so honestly, a Electro Drift isn't looking all that bad, to be honest, because the only real targets being able to resist it is that Iron Hands and potentially the Iron Leaves, but
even then, you could always do a gamble with Groudon and go for those P-Blades and just sink them straight into your opponent's arms. I actually know.
Arms?
The animation is weird.
Honestly, I feel let's say arms. So I do think that's exactly is what gonna arms. Yeah, arms. Arms.
Oh, I thought you said something else.
Oh.
I misunderstood your accent. I'm so sorry.
I got a really thick accent.
Here we go.
Sorry.
We got the electric coming out and the P blades. Precipitate blades. Sorry, I shouldn't shorten it down.
The Pacific Blades? What did you say? What did you say?
Is it Precipice Blades?
Precipice, right? Yeah. All right. Precipice Blades. As
Okay.
Iron Leaves comes in, so we do have the one resist here, getting an attack boost thanks to Electric Terrain as well. But I think like Groudon is a really good position still, because like you can still Terra Fire, you can then use your Fire move onto the Iron Leaves, you can still Electro Drift into the Ferrograph, hopefully KOing that. And there's only the Ho-Oh in the back then. Yeah. Well, Ho-Oh does wall the Groudon actually. Now that I look at it, Heat Crash and Precipice Blades is everything it has. Keep that Miraidon alive is the name of the game right now.
Oh, for sure. But that Iron Leaves is getting that attack boost, not a speed boost with Warp Drive. So I don't remember it speeds that off the top of my head. So it could be faster or it could be slower. I don't remember.
I believe it's slower. So let's take a look here as we have the ground going for the Terra Fire exactly. Electro Drift into the Ferrograph. Ferrograph is getting killed, meaning Cyblade is going into Miraidon. Miraidon is just gone. Live Orb boosted attack boost. Iron Leaves powerful as a Heat Crash will kill the Iron Leaves. But now there's a Ho-Oh that you have to deal with.
Groudon still has access to that bulk up combo with Heat Crash potential. I don't think it will do enough, but it could potentially.
You dodged 2 Sacred Fires and then yes.
Dodge the Brave. Dodge Brave Birds. You dodged the
honestly,
Brave Birds. You're fine.
You dodged the Brave Bird. Honestly, yeah, you're the king of the ground. How is a bird touching you? You know, like it's fine. Let's take a look at this endgame as the ground is indeed going for that bulk up. Brave Bird still doing massive amount of damage. To be honest,
that is a lot of damage.
Yeah, What? Excuse me?
I'm sorry, what?
Is Ho-Oh light? I didn't know Ho-Oh was light.
I'm sorry, what?
I did not expect Ho-Oh to take that much.
I think we're gonna fact check the weight on this Ho-Oh because that is mental.
This Ho-Oh is made of paper. What is this? I've seen Ho-Oh survive crazy amount of things, and now it's just that. Oh, Groudon? No, that's my homie. I'm good. I'm good.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm a bit stunned there. Like I was not expecting Ho-Oh to take so much damage from that Heat Crash. That was mental.
That was like one bulk up. Like generally, I feel like Ho-Oh should have taken that better, right?
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. Should have. Like, my calcs were. I had some calcs for Ho-Oh, but like I never realized how light it was from Heat Crash.
No, same. I'm like generally thinking to myself like, I've seen Ho-Oh survive crazy things, and then just doing about 50 with Heat Crash from +1. Okay, it's a +1 Groudon, but it's still resisted. Well, you know. Shows I don't know my Groudon calcs. I don't tend to use Groudon, so I'm gonna blame you.
I don't know my calcs into Ho-Oh, that's the thing. No one was used. There was like one person that I knew of that used Ho-Oh back in G. I have no clue what the calcs are into it.
Yeah, no, I would not call that as either.
I think that's something that if anyone in chat would like to find out, you're more than welcome to, because I don't have any way to find that out right now. But that is insane.
Like,
This is
Ho
making me
is
want
a
to use
huge
Groudon
bird, right? Like Ash is looking at the rainbow and like Ho is half the size of that, and I'm like, oh no, apparently not. It's not heavy at all.
Do you know what? We've got 2 more weeks of Reg I, sorry, and this is making me want to use Groudon again.
Well, let's see if
crazy.
Groudon can pull it through again in game 2 as well. Let's.
Yeah, let's go straight in. Good to see that Miraidon Incineroar leaves and a Miraidon. This, I'm still baffled that there's an Iron leaves. But...
No, I'm generally I'm in the same boat here right now. Instead of giving them an option of yet again fake out, but yeah, Farigiraf is always a Pokemon that can potentially just switch in whenever it wants as well. We do have the Scarf on the Miraidon, being able to prove that it can be faster and deal a lot of damage as well from Mizutani's side. But
even then, if that Miraidon wants, if the Scarf Miraidon on on Fake Gucci Sock's side, I'm sorry, I'm gonna butcher your name, so I'm just gonna stick with the Fake Gucci Socks. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, way easier to say.
We could see a Snarl come out potentially to harm the damage output from the Jordan side. Just
well, it could potentially very well happen.
You know?
Yeah, no, the options are there, but I just wonder how much Iron Leaves is still gonna do now. It has been intimidated now. It's still carrying that life orb. If it's still able to KO the Miraidon, I'll be very impressed, to be honest.
I mean, is it gonna do as much damage as Groudon?
Exactly, we've been surprised already today. So honestly, surprise me again in this turn 1. Let's take a look at what the players are actually.
No matter what happens in the rest of this game, I'm just glad to have seen last game happen live without any. That was crazy. We are going to see a Protect on the Iron Leaf. We're going to see that knockoff as well. Get rid of the Assault Vest for potentially later on for Dazzling Gleam shenanigans. Oh, it doesn't have Dazzling Gleam. Never mind.
That's all right. Now we have 2 Iron Hands being able to just fake each other out again as well, switching it into both of their Miraidon slots here. Honestly, do you think did they bring the Ho-Oh again after seeing like how little it did against the Groudon, or did they bring the Farigiraf?
I honestly think Jordan might have been in a situation there where he's just so baffled at the damage that Groudon did that it's just like, yeah, take a breather.
Yeah, just it's fine, Ho-Oh. You get him next time. But now with 2 fake outs, all right. So we have potential speed tie in that regard. Incineroar is still able to at least Flare Blitz this Iron Leaves, which will very much deal a lot of damage just as well. So you had a potential switch in off Miraidon, for example, and then you can start Dazzling Gleam again. But maybe that Mizutani might be able to call this play just as well.
Yeah, but we are just going to see Farigiraf come back in.
Always on sabbatical.
And Iron Leaves is just going to deal with. Okay, we're trading 1 for 1. Iron Hands down and Iron Leaves is down. Hands come back out.
He's back.
The Groudon is back!
All right, we do have fake out again with the Iron Hands. Farigiraf is able to set up a potential trigger for this Iron Hands to be able to use, but then again you have the Miraidon, which is going to be slower than the opposing Miraidon, so a trick in that regard could be nice, as long as you're able to get rid of the Groudon first. We do know it's bulk up, it's most likely faster than the Iron Hands. A low kick will still deal decent damage because Groudon is heavy. We know that is a fact. We don't know about Ho-Oh.
And Iron Hands does in fact have that Quark Drive boost, so it will get extra damage off with low kick if it chooses to go for it.
Yeah, exactly. So, and Incineroar is able to just Parting Shot, Flare Blitz. Let's take a look. It's just fake out actually coming out, making sure nothing's gonna happen. Parting Shot meaning that Miraidon is coming back in with that Scarf. Let's see if the Ferrigraph is going for that Trick Room. It is the Trick Room right now. So even at -1, this Iron Hands is able to still deal some damage, but Incineroar has the potential to just come back in again, intimidate again. Ferrigraph, we saw earlier when it did a foul play, it did about like 30-ish% as well. So it is Groudon is the threat here right now. Within Trick Room, your Miraidon can win on Jordan's side, but you really need to be very careful and see what your best option here is.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, Iron Hands is less bulky now, so if Miraidon does manage to get an attack off, then we can pretty much say bye-bye to that Iron Hands due to that lack of Assault Vest now. But Low Kick is still going to do quite a decent chunk to either of these Pokemon if that is the move selected.
No, absolutely. We still have the Terra option. It is just Incineroar switching back in for that Miraidon slot. Let's take a look. It is Low Kick into the Groudon. 31%. Psychic Noise into the Groudon. Doing about 30 as well. Can't heal anymore. Percival Blades not KOing it just yet. And your Iron Hands is still able to Low Kick the Groudon for a potential KO with a high roll. Or we can just attack the Incineroar as well.
Yeah.
So still really good options here.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I think that turn played out just like standard in a way. There is still there's no fake out. What am I on about? But Ferrigraph's on play. There is still potential for like knockoff into say into Ferrigraph for that super effective damage. Incineroar is still quite relatively slow. I don't think it underspeeds either ones, but
no, probably most likely not. It depends on how they are trained, but most of the time the Incineroar tends to be a little bit faster than the Iron Hands. So in this position, it is still awkward as there are still a few turns of Trick Room left. 3 more turns as you need to survive a Low Kick, a foul play.
Four more turns of Trick Room.
Oh, yeah. Ooh.
Can they survive the 4 turns of Trick Room? That is the real question.
Yeah.
See this.
So it is going to be Protect.
Yeah.
Green Punch into the Groudon. Psychic Noise into the Groudon. So the double up into the Groudon, trying to make sure that it goes down. Not happening this time.
Goes down. So we are left with a Miraidon in Trick Room and the Ferrigraph on Jordan's side. Yeah. This is looking pretty dire.
This is tight. You are able to Terra your own Miraidon into Terra Fairy, but the issue with that is Incineroar is going to be able to Flare Blitz you, and the Groudon could very well just opt for a Fire move just as well, because the Ferrigraph isn't, I don't think the Ferrigraph is, it did 28 with the Psychic Noise, and I think Foul Play in the last game did about 30 to 31, so this could very well be a roll.
I think, if I remember, it really depends on how much attack investment Groudon has, but if I remember rightly, if you've got a higher attack EV spread, Foul Play is doing enough at this range.
All right, let's take a look at what is
going to
wait
and see.
happen.
We are going to see the
Terra Fairy. We helping hand.
Helping hand.
Knockoff. Okay, to Miraidon. So what is Groudon? Precipice Blades. It misses the Ferrigraph.
The Gamble!
Wow. Okay.
Whoa!
Still being able to hang on, and with that Dazzling Gleam, you are able to hit the Miraidon coming in just as well. Has Terra been used already? I'm trying to remember on Mizutani's side.
I don't believe Terra's been used on fake
Mizutani's side, right? Yeah, no, I don't think so either. So I do believe that the opposing Miraidon is able to still Terra Electric at the very least. The Miraidon does no longer have its choice specs, so a helping hand Dracometer could prove to be enough against that Miraidon.
The fact that Incineroar lived the Dazzling Gleam was quite detrimental there, because it would have at least potentially, there's still potential for a Flare Blitz to come out here from Incineroar.
Oh, you're right.
Finish off Miraidon. That's instantly what I saw. Like, yes, unless does Ferrigraph have Ferrigraph does have Foul Play, so that could come out into Incineroar. You know what?
I do see Foul Play Ferrigraph into Incin, and then Miraidon.
We are going to see that Foul Play to finish off Incineroar. And the Dazzling Gleam. 53.
Okay, single target. But now you have the issue.
Yeah.
No more Trick Room. Miraidon is on the field. Electro Drifting, Choice Scarf, and that is GG.
And that's all she wrote.
Yep, that is the Castilla City Cobalions winning another game there. So meaning that these two stream games, the Cabalans just locked in just as well and said, no, this ain't happening. This comeback, no, we're not letting them bring it back here. And that means the Cabalans are going to that semifinals as well. So very exciting to see. Well, Ground wrap it up. Aren't you?
Oh
You were
my
most
God,
excited about it as well.
I'm still stunned by that end of game one.
that like
was-
it showcases that it was kind of a insane insane calc to say at the very least.
Honestly, I think that's one of the best things about UKIT. You're going to see very unexpected things that you may not see at a regional because of how many games that are going on in the even like stream games. How many stream games there are just in one night? We've done 6 games.
Yep. There's gonna be someone at Worlds having watched Dragon do this, and they're like, yeah, I gotta remember that.
Oh, I
gotta
would
remember this.
honestly love to see someone go watch this stream who's playing at Worlds and be like, yeah, I've seen how good Groudon is. We're gonna play
I know
Groudon.
I know the calc. I know the calc. You know, like do the anime glass thing. Like, I know the calc actually. Like, kind of like.
I did see in chat that someone sent a calc in. Heat Crash into Ho-Oh is 100 base power,
Yeah.
which is
okay.
insane. Whereas you've got like other restrictors like Kali Ice specifically, which I believe it was 40 base power into Kali Ice, so it was very bad. Like Groudon versus Kali Ice. That's the main one I remember doing counts for. But yeah, this was the games today have been incredible. Like, wow.
Yeah. So we do have to mention as well, like this was a grand weekend as well. But next weekend we do have Worlds. Finally, it's coming up. Anaheim, all the players of the EU, like all over the world, coming together here, and we get to see the final Reg I big tournament there. I'm very excited to see what happens. I hope, as I said, I hope some people might have drawn inspiration from some of these sets, you know, like Groudon counts and stuff.
Do you know what? I think no matter what game you're gonna watch at Worlds, I reckon no matter the game, TCG, VG, Go, or even Unite, no matter which one you see, you're gonna see the best of the best fight it out, and it's gonna be
absolutely
incredible. I'm
absolutely
like I feel like this season's just gone way too fast, honestly. But like, now that we're here at the end game, wow, I'm looking forward to seeing how Worlds go, honestly. And to be honestly, to see how, what I'm really looking forward to see is the difference between whatever the first regional of this format was. Was it Toronto? No, Toronto was last year. What am I on about? Like the front.
I don't recall quite
the difference between the start of this format to the World Championships. But we've got to add a bit more. We do have to add, the evolution of it. But when we come back from Worlds the following weekend, I believe that would be the 24th, or the week starting 17th. No, 18th.
The 23rd, 20. Yeah, so the week, 18th.
So we've got Castle Royale Lakers versus Asila Cobra Kai, and Zero Gate Zoroarks versus Castelia City Cobalians for the semi-finals.
Yep.
The stream will be back on the 24th of August. Quite literally the Sunday after the World's Championships.
Exactly. So we'll have a world champion.
Sorry.
Yeah, we'll have a world champion by then, and they can watch this stream just as well, because semifinals, very important to mention at the very least. They'll be at the end of their winner speech. They will, all right, sorry, hold on. I need to go back. I need to watch UKIT. Just a second there.
Yeah.
Quite important
see
there.
that Groudon that swept the whole.
Yeah, that Groudon, that's my guy. That's my absolutely. But yeah, I'm very excited to see like what the semifinals will bring. Of course, we have seen some amazing matches today. Apart from the Groudon itself was amazing. Don't get me wrong, but like there were a lot of great matches to say the very least. I was very excited to see Costa play, for example, 2018. It's a format that is kind of close to my heart, for example, and I love seeing Snatch, mainly that.
There's so many, like, that's one of the things that I've loved about UKIT this season. There's been so many strange, or non-Scarlet Violet formats played that it's just been fun to watch everything that's been going on. I know this week, yes, they weren't the stream match, but I feel like it's worth bringing it up. We've had a few random battle games, like random double battles. I believe there was another interesting wild card that I've kind of forgotten at the point, but I remember watching it and being quite surprised by it.
Yeah.
And well, I mean,
don't
even
like
like past weeks, I played Series 3 Sword and Shield. That's a format that I didn't play, but love seeing.
I mean,
Like-
yeah, that's completely fair. Yeah.
2018's one that was really fun. I think it was 2018. It was one of the Sun and Moon formats. I remember seeing Worlds for it, I believe, and it was quite fun to watch.
Yeah, Paul Ruiz won that year, if I recall correctly. It was, it's just an amazing, like, it was a fun format to watch, I find. So, like, going back to these older formats, always fun to see as well. So, next week, no UKITT. The week after, we have the semifinals, and then the winners of those will play. You'll get to see on the 31st of August, meaning that we get to finish the season in August, meaning that we can start fresh in Frankfurt in September as well.
Or even at your local scenes, because chances are there's going to be a few locals before Frankfurt. Almost certain.
That's absolutely true. Yeah. I mean, you get the practice in, right? You got to get those dive claws in.
including the semi-finals on the 24th, we've got a few placement matches for a few teams that may not have made the playoff cut, but are still fighting for their specific placements. They will also have a stream match, like how it was today, where we had two stream, probably the exact same format, where there was 2 stream games for the semi-final, or there'll probably be 2 semi-final games for each team, and then 1 for each of the placement matches. So yeah, I'm looking forward to, like, yes, this has been fun, but it's gonna be nice to close the chapter on series. I forget what season we're on for UKITT.
Honestly.
We'll it's gonna be nice to close the book on the 2025 season for UKITT, and then soon potentially open up the book for 2026.
Yeah. Well, that's the grand part about UKITT. You can join as well, as long as you're a UK player, of course. And like, it's always fun for me, an outsider, to be invited to be able to look at these matches from time to time as well, because it's just fun. Because, for example, I love to watch the Bundesliga as well from our German friends as well. And these kind of organizations, it's always fun to see these in full-on action, being able to really elevate your players, like your local players, to showcase them, like, these are our players, these are the powerful players that are able that we have, and just like feels like a little teaser for what's to come in the next season at the regionals of Pokemon. So that it's just very exciting, really.
It's also been nice to see, like, teams collaborate with one another as well, like just like the players in their own teams that may not have actually spoken to each other before, say UKITT or like the World Tour or any sort of like team-based tournaments thing. Now starting to build those like friendships, those bonds, and even like working together to build teams for tournaments like this, or even grander scale, like cups, challenges, or even like your regional level play. It's been an absolute pleasure to see this evolve.
It's just way better to play with friends. That's just the whole gist of Pokemon. That's what the message they've been sending us through the anime for these years and years. So
that's why Ash has his companions. My gosh.
Yeah, friends. It's fine. Sometimes you get on that crossroad where you see Brock, Misty, and stuff walk away, but then you get new friends like, heck yeah, Tracy. I love Tracy. Sorry,
unfortunately, I don't think you'll be able to win a regional with the power of friendship, but the friends will be there along the way, at least. That's the main thing to take away from it.
I don't know. Those Italians, quite close.
I don't think... I was gonna say, I don't think you're beating Wolf Glick with the power of friendship, but that you got a funnier joke out of that, so well played.
Hey, one Wolf Glick against 3 Italians in a trench coat. Who's winning?
Depends. Does that trench coat have a Miraidon hidden in it?
It has 2 of them.
Oh no.
Yeah, unfortunately. But yeah, I do think that is time for us to wrap up as well. So we'll be very excited to greet you back in 2 weeks A lot of good luck to the players going to Worlds, and a lot of fun. And I hope you will all enjoy the World stream just as well. And of course, that you enjoyed this stream just as well.
Oh, and if you're not joining Worlds, please make sure you do those Shen Pao raids. I like my shinies.
It's a very good call, honestly.
That's all I can really say on that. I want my shiny
that's-
Shen Pao. It's such a cool mon.
Absolutely fair. So do your Shin Power raids, or Mr. Garner Host will hunt you down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
directly into the camera.
Just grabs the camera.
Pull up virtual insanity, just slowly moving towards the camera.
Okay. But that be all for this week. Thank you very much for watching, and see you guys
Thank
next
you.
time.
Take it easy.